Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bless up Float, bless up Christopher Wisdom. Thanks for being here. I appreciate being here. This is one of those, what we call them? Breaking news story. Well, it's not really breaking news. It's just doing an impromptu show, given that we had the press conference to announce the Jamaica national team for the upcoming Copa America qualifiers. So thank you, Judith Williams. Judith Williamson, I should say. Apologize. So I figured, and you know, Judith Williams, I get a lot of pushback on my music, but I tell them, say, I'm an aspiring DJ. My new profession. But thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. Gang stalking, thanks a lot. I'm gonna touch that thing, gang stalking, because I got pushback on that question, right? So I'm gonna touch up on that too. I have a lot of things to touch upon actually. But I thought it was important to come here and talk today. I'm having some problem with my throat, people. I don't know what happened. You know, ever since I had COVID way back when, I can't talk for too long actually. You guys must say, what are you talking about, Cranky? We talk about every evening, but you always see me drinking water. COVID mashed me up, boy. I had COVID for like 3 weeks, lost 15 pounds, and I thought I was going home to my maker. I was ready, actually, very ready. Some of you deep me don't believe in God, and I do believe in God, I just believe in Jesus. But anyway, we won't get into that this evening. So I'm going to drink water to up my conversation with you. Yeah, gangster, we have touched on that gangster. We have enough to touch on. We have time this evening, people. Can we do the show early? We have some stuff to do this evening, so maybe even come back and do a later show, but it wouldn't be football. I'm going to play the press conference. I'm going to stop in the middle of the press conference and play something else that I listened to today, that I referenced in my press conference, because I think these things are important. These things are important, people, right? And if I spend my time thinking about questions and try to come up with good questions to ask the coach, I should be afforded the respect to get the answer that the question warrants. I'm not going to that, because we may think, Cranky, you have ego and you have this. That's not it. Because I listened to the Tuchel press conference, and I want us in Jamaica to be afforded the same respect like in other organizations, other countries, other institutions. And we should demand it, right? But I'm going to touch upon different things first before I get into the football, actually. Because you know me, I was a jump around first. Now I'm touching on politics today, just sports. Thanks, Conrad. Appreciate it. Just sports, we have touch, people. I notice I preface my question before I ask, right? Because I wanted to set it up, which he agreed with later on. But a couple of things I want to talk about. One is the Cavalier situation yesterday. First of all, two things. And I'm reluctant to say congratulations when you have lost both legs of a game, right? It's really touchy because people are going to say, Cranky, overly critical. They didn't embarrass themselves. But if embarrassment is the barometer we're going to use to judge who we are and how we perform, that's not a good thing. I am really struggling with this. I was very happy with the first leg we played in Miami. You're playing away from home. You held your own. You could have won that game, right? Good thing. Praise deserved. But yesterday, I walked away saying, we have so much work to do. So much work to do in the football in Jamaica. It's in the Caribbean generally, because there was a Asian There was a Trinidadian in the team. So much work to do. And I'm watching these bunch of old world-class players just playing the ball around us, and we're fit and we're strong and we're running. And it's just, it was frustrating to watch in the context of we can't keep the ball. Now you see me have before the game come my program, and he talked about possession is a lifestyle, right? And you hear other people like, we don't have to have the ball to win. And you see it, look how Cavaliers play another ball, them lose. Cavaliers have lost 10-0 in 4 games in the last 2 years. Yes, they won the Cameron Championship. Yes, the financial rewards have been good. I wouldn't say great, they've been very good. Let's say Cavaliers made over $100 million, $1 million US, over $100 million Jamaican. Whoopee, great. Maybe Rudolph invested back in the football. But the product on the field was not the right standard. In the first half of the game, I was saying that yesterday, we couldn't put 3 passes together. 3 passes, 3. Forget about when we get into their half. Non-existent. In our own half, we can't put 3 or 4 passes together. Tick tock, tick tock. They were just doing it as if they're playing man in the middle. I am blessed up, Ricardo. I'm just, I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I say, I'm gonna give up Jamaica football because I'm beyond frustrated. I have people like Football Guru come on my channel talking about I think I know everything, or them saying to on JD's channel. So anybody who have a different opinion, a different perspective, who maybe they have some know-how, they know everything, like them bad mind, right? And if you talk about Rudolph Speed and Cavalier, your bad mind kind of make money, and you're not making money, your bad mind. That shallow way of thinking, that lack of thought, deductive reasoning, ability to have vision and strategy and thought process and be able to assess things is concerning. It's so concerning. I don't think people understand. And I don't want to be in an environment, that's what I'm thinking about giving up Jamaica football. I don't want to be in an environment where I feel uncomfortable. When I do my shows like on Trump and the MAGA people them come at me because people they're coming at me hard, I know they ain't got no sense. That's why I don't really worry about them coming at me. You only watch CNN. That's why you had the view. And I said, well, do you only watch Fox? We're going to have that war, right? I can have the war with the MAGA. I don't want to have war with my own people. I'm not into that. I'm going to have my MAGA work. I'm going to do much more Trump stuff. And I'm going to get enough more views. And it's going to be interesting engagement model with me and MAGA people. Because they come in hard. They come in hard. Because they're gonna think they're intellectually superior, right? Which is what they're doing now. When I do my MAGA, when I do my Trump stuff, and they want to question your intelligence. That's fine. I can handle that. I don't want to have that with my people. I'm about uplifting my people and uplifting who we are and how we operate. But I'm also not into the whole concept of, you know what? Failure should be applauded. Yes, if you fail, you get up and you go again, right? That's how life is. And if you don't fail in life, you never really learn enough to do really well and to know how to overcome your challenges and deficiencies and developmental needs. But I'm not into the failure thing. So we're going to have the McLaren press conference. It won't be pretty, people. I'm telling you. The discussion will not be pretty. So if you're here to hear nice things, they want to hear it. Secondly, there's a person who I banned from my channel. And so when I asked the first question today, the person says, well, Cranky wasn't born in Jamaica. In my fight Jamaican players in Figoe. That's a summary of what the person says. Because I didn't know this. Somebody clip it and send it to me. I'm going to say something to that person when it comes to Jamaica. I have probably sent more money to Jamaica for different things than you ever make in your goddamn life. You're one of them people like a leech and a person who come in the program and tell people about their mom and curse them out, which is inappropriate. That's why you're not on my channel anymore. You will never be on my channel anymore. You're a bug. And I squash bugs. That's what I do with bugs. You're a bug. You are a person just so negative. First of all, I've said this 1,000 times. If Jamaica had 23 local players on the team, I'm fine with that. If they're good enough. This is about meritocracy. If they're good enough, I'm fine with them being a team. If they're all locally bred. But as we saw yesterday with Cavaliers, and this is not Jamaica, this is the Caribbean. The administrations in the Caribbean are not good enough. Let me repeat that. There are a few, like, what's his name in Grenada, who trying to make some progress. He's sending people to Houston, MLS team, coaches. He's thoughtful, right? What's his name? He and I met him in Houston. He was a lawyer, worked with FIFA and all that. So he's trying to do something. But a lot of the leaders in the Caribbean in football, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. They're just not. And they don't know what good looks like. And they can pump them chest off all they want. They can get upset when I say this. They can get mad. I don't care. There are some people in life who have had exposure who are good enough. And this Tuesday, I'm hoping to have a discussion with somebody who I respect quite a bit, who is in the New York area. I want to talk about, should the diaspora get more involved in local affairs, not only in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean? Because we can't export all this intellectual capital. They go out and learn. And then when they want to come back to help, or they want to do it remotely, we're trying to push them away because your assholes in Jamaica, however you are, want to just manipulate the environment you operate in and do the same thing over and over and over again with the same outcome. And you don't know what good looks like. And then you push your chest out and say, you guys think you know everything because you're in there foreign. Such crap. Such nonsense. And you didn't know anything about it? I'm going to say this again. The diaspora does not need the Caribbean. Let me repeat that, people. Can I Jamaica thing? The diaspora does not need the Caribbean. If the US sneeze, Jamaica have a heart attack. 30% of Jamaica's GDP comes from tourism. Now, 20% comes from remittances. If you take out the US out of that, you may have maybe 35 to 40% is a US-based amount in the GDP. Okay? That means you have to diversify your revenue streams, Jamaica. And you have to leverage the intellectual capital that you've exported. You can't be all into yourself thinking that these people can't help you and want them to help you. There are countries, I was doing a research today, that allow their citizens to vote who are remote. Go look it up. We are one of the biggest exporter per capita of people in the world. But anyway, let me come off my soapbox. I'm just getting frustrated, people. And that's what I'm saying, I'm just going to do my MAGA thing. I can't take the nonsense with the football thing. I'll do my MAGA thing and get my MAGA beaten. Because they won't pay me feet. Because enough of them have view me thing. Because you see anything about MAGA, them run to kill you. So I have to drink more water, people. Yeah, Nitro. It appears that way, Nitro. It's frustrating, Nitro. It's frustrating. People, I see Messi go Jamaica. By the way, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. See Messi go Jamaica, and I see Babs the Granger run, and Prime Minister that stadium, and everybody come on, show up. Now, I would agree in the last couple of games Jamaica played them turn up, but where were they before? Everybody wrong if you go see Messi. And when you see your national pride and your local and your this, why not turn up in a 35, 40,000 when Jamaica play? And when Jamaica play a game and not get the result and start beat out on the chest, nonsense this, and me drive, I'm in a traffic for 2 hours and me couldn't get to the game and I look at money go perform the way you know I complained yesterday when you go see Messi. Now kiss you know what? You go see Messi. He run on the field for about 2 minutes. I'm going to feel good. And them nonsense we are talking about in the people. Me not spend money if Greenwood come, I try to Jamaica to watch Greenwood. Me not spend money to go watch Messi. First of all, I'll be honest. I'm going to read the history about Argentina. I'm done with Argentina. I repeat that. When me read the history about Argentina, I'm done with Argentina. I'm not support nothing Argentina. Nothing. Not even a roach in Argentina I'm not support. I'm not support nothing Argentina. Done with them. When me hear the history of Argentina, so even though I not fight Messi, great player, has done well, I not support nothing Argentina, people. I tell you the truth. So I can't go say me about a hypocrite. Nah, a hypocrite thing. If Greenwood come to Jamaica, I try to find, if no me like fly, I try to find me where Jamaica watch Greenwood play. Because Jamaica may represent, and Jamaica may I deal with. So I say, that may I deal with. I mean, the other nonsense. But anyway, I come up my soapbox and talk some more JV press conference. Now, I made sure I was at the press conference today. I thought about the questions I need to ask. I just don't know, me come up with me 10, 15, 20 questions, right? And I went through them and say, you know what? Which one would I like to really pose because what I'm concerned about? Yeah, Black River. Not surprising, Black River. Me not support nobody who not support my people. Let me repeat that. I do not support any country, any person who is anti my race and anti me. Me not in that people. Me not care who you are. I don't care what you have done. So I would never buy a Tesla. Ever. I support the environment. I believe in climate change. I would prefer walk than buy a Tesla. Nah, buy a Tesla. And see, he might get burn out now. He might get burn out now, people. And he might get more burn out. Worse again, do you know? Understand? When you sell product, you have to cater to your customers, which, by the way, Jamaican restaurant don't understand that. You have to cater to your customer. So when you start piss off how you have to customer them, and you hear the contradiction with with Musk and him customer, the people who believe in climate change are the people who are more democratic, right? More liberal in their thinking. And them are the one him a piss off with what him a do. And the MAGA them don't believe in it. Them don't want him to, because he no born in America. Crazy. It's crazy. By the way, yeah, Christopher, I was looking at you know what? I was gonna buy a Lucid, and I put it off because Lucid is coming out with the vehicle. People, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the truth. I have a 2013 vehicle. All right, I'm not chill my vehicle for prime purpose. I'm not really drive that much. I'm chill my vehicle for purpose. And the one I may have in a broke down. The vehicle I may have right now in a broke down. So I say, why change the purpose? But I see the Lucid Gravity. I look on it. I say, Mr. I away in a star. I'd Lucid Gravity. I want to buy it, but then the Lucid CEO resigned. I say, why him resign, star? That don't make no sense. Now, if you don't lose Lucid, it's an electric company. It's backed by Saudi Arabia. So they have deep pocket. In Saudi Arabia have them problem. Because I try to build some Oasis, which now work around in overrun. And it's a really good looking vehicle. And I don't like Teslas I didn't like Teslas because I like gadgets in my car. And they only have a iPad type setup. They don't have enough gadgets, even though the vehicle works, right? And secondly, the Lucid give you 440 miles of range at its peak. So, but I'll wait till next year before me think about it. But you're right, Wisdom. Lucid a good car. No, I'm not sell it to no boss, Thomas. If me buy a new car, I'm not sell it to them. I love it. It's a 2013 GX400. And I love it. I bought it at people. Hey, people, me mice or sometime, you know. I buy car, I depreciate asset. I buy depreciate assets, you know. I buy the vehicle at auction. It was 3 years old. Them strip it, right? Them strip it. I have a friend who do cars, and they can fix it up. But here's the thing about the vehicle. Today, the vehicle is probably value 70% of what I bought it for, and I bought it in 2016. Because I still live downtown Brooklyn, I didn't need a vehicle, right? If I live right, we still live right by the net center. We never need a vehicle, so we just have the vehicle. We just park it at one other house. I have to go pick it up every week, and I'm just get vexed. But I don't want to sell it because I love the vehicle. But anyway, we digress. We go to the football. We digress because we can't talk about them things all night. People, if you come into the chat, come in miserable now. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. But Boss Thomas, I hear what I say, but me not sell that vehicle. In fact, I was going to give it to my nephew. And then I'm like, but I still want to keep it. So I'm going to give it to my nephew, actually. Can I get him license now? Even though I'm tell me say him no want to drive no more, can I get one ticket the other day? I forget lie, I forget him off. I'm saying no, like a ticket, but him need to drive. Him can't drive, he need to drive. Then him go Barbie, say that he might drive, him go Jamaica. Him go Jamaica drive. Me not drive a Jamaica, you know. Go Jamaica, me take taxi and take bus. Me not drive a Jamaica. I mean, the bus we go country. Them regular bus that come. Me can't me neck a bend when you know, take bus full and still I bring people in. But anyway, let's talk some football, people. People, please hit the like button. You know, I tell them I get tired sometimes. Easy, 48 likes and 100 people. That can't work, people. Porsche 911. When I drive smart vehicle, we only drive SUV nowadays. We only drive SUV. And the one I like is the Lucid Gravity. Go look it up, people. Very nice. Very, very nice. That one I like. Mazda CX. No, man. When I drive car. I stop drive car now. When I went to St. Louis for the game, I rented what did I rent? To Toro. I rent I'm trying to mention. It's a South Korean car. It was really, really nice though. Electric vehicle. No, it wasn't electric. It was gas. It was really, really nice. And I rented an electric vehicle when I went to Dallas. Really, really nice too. I'm trying to remember the vehicle, but I can't remember. I have no problem traveling public vehicle. I'm not one of those elitists when it comes to that, No, sir. Audi 2019. Yeah, it was an Audi. You're right, Float. It was an Audi. I don't know if it was 2019. It was an Audi. See, what I remember. I forget. It was nice though. I rented it from an African lady from Toro, and car was clean. Wasn't driven much. It was good. It was better than mine. My vehicle is still good. It was better than mine actually. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the drive. It was very easy driving from Atlanta to St. Louis actually. Yeah, but it has to be an SUV, people. Now I'm driving nothing except SUV. No, I don't care. And you know why I don't drive cars anymore? I've been driving SUVs for the last 20-something years. One day I was driving a car in the New Jersey Turnpike. And I realized I couldn't see anything. I was below everything. And he said, me know what? Me just say, no, me not drive no more car. I float, bless up float. All right. So me not drive no more car because when me drive on the turnpike, I may look, but can't see over nobody. Everybody above you. Okay, everybody in an SUV. So that's why I stop drive car. Plus me don't need to drive fast anymore for race anybody. So I'm not do that. Come on, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Now get into football, people. So I don't go into. All right, Chris. We're gonna do one, Chris. We'll do one. What you want? What do you want in this way, Chris? What in financial area you want to talk about? Let me know, and we can have a discussion. And by the way, Pastor, if you're around, I do want to have a discussion with you on this program about God, religion, all that thing, Israel, Jesus. Want to have the conversation, people. We have to have the conversation. So call out your grandmother, your sister, your aunt to come out, come talk. We want to talk about it. We want the conversation. I want to have conversation, people. This is very important. Trust me on this. It's very important. You have to have conversations that make you uncomfortable so you can get comfortable. You hear me say this numerous times. When we talk about God, we can't be hiding and get all nervous and say, we don't want to talk about that. And cranky, stop. That is nonsense. Let's have the difficult conversations so we can try to get comfortable with the difficult subjects. So you want like 529 discussion in terms of retirement. Okay, we can have one of those, Chris. We should have one of those. We should have one of those, actually. And frankly, what I'm going to try to do is, because I don't want to be talking a lot about investing, and then the SEC comes say, cranky, so you're not licensed, you're talking about them thing there. So I'm going to try to get somebody who's licensed to come on, have the conversation. I'll try to get a friend of mine, well, not my friend, one of my old staff who runs a portfolio for a big company. But then he had to go to his compliance department. Ain't no compliance there. Well, who is he? And if people come to my channel, they might get nervous, right? And then come over, and then come look at me, them say, let me give me a link for this channel. And then they hear me attack. They must say, no, you can't go for that channel. You can't go for that channel. Sorry. We're not having you who represent our company. You may go as personal, but we can't take that risk. This person may say anything. So I have to think about how I get somebody to come and talk about that. I'm going to talk to a friend of mine, actually. I haven't talked to her in a while, though. I have to try to get her to come and talk, actually. Financial planning, generational wealth. All right, we'll come up with a topic, people, that works really well. And maybe we can try to find, if I can find somebody to come on who is in that sphere. I have to go reach out to people who I haven't talked to in a while to come and talk about it. I'll be the questionnaire and they can talk about it. Add before, after all that is mentioned, the program is for entertainment. No, you can't give advice about entertainment. Then you tell me, you see me a joke thing, wisdom. You see me a joke. He said, Kalia Reynolds. And if you guys know somebody, because I know what the questions to ask, who you believe is an expert in these fields. And also, because some companies, and I understand this, because when I was in certain areas of corporate, I wouldn't do these type of discussion. They are right in not allowing some of their people not to do this. That's why I'm very surprised that Musk has not been reined in by Tesla, which is a public company. That to me is mind-boggling, people. I'm telling you, mind-boggling. He's destroying a company where he doesn't have more than 50% shares in the company. I think he has about 29, somewhere around this percentage. So the other 70% of shareholders, what the hell is happening to them? Their company getting destroyed. Their value is going down. He's not being sued by some lawyer who's doing a class action suit. It doesn't make any sense to me. EVs from America, I don't know much about them, Michael Sadler. I've heard about it. Which country? Was it Zimbabwe? I've heard about it quite a bit. They're not using, it's not really EV, no. They're using some electrical energy thing, actually. It's not really any water or liquid that they're using, actually. I was watching a program that the other day, actually. I had to do more research into it. But people, that's what we should talk. I'm glad you guys are interested in some of these subjects because it's very important for us as a people to have these dialogue. And those of you who just want to talk football, this is not just a football channel anymore. May want to break it up between two channels, it not happen. So we'll talk live. That's what we'll talk. And sports is a subcomponent of life. Yeah, Meeks, we'll have the conversation. We have the conversation. So let's start the football, people. Let's go to the football. I could be here all day pontificating about tons of things. So the press conference today, it was interesting because I actually listened to most of Tuchel's press conference when he named the England team, and I was assessing his response and the completeness of the response to what we got from our coach. And this is important, people. Don't get this twisted about Cranky and himself and Cranky think this, and because I saw someone was there sometime. I want us who are in the media in Jamaica, I cover Jamaica sports, and I think everybody's realizing now that the new media is media. It's not some sighting, and that they should be taken seriously. They should be taken seriously, right? You can't just treat it. You can't treat people because of various people in the media. People, some people may come in informed, some people come in informed. It's all part of the new media. The old traditional media is not dead, but it's on life support because no one now has a monopoly on information. You know, the same radio station and TV station, because they don't vex, and don't say it work anymore. And therefore, if you're brought into the environment, you should be afforded the same respect. So I'm going to talk about that. So let's listen to the press conference, people. First of all, the Jamaica team for the upcoming Nations League Gold Cup qualifier between St. Vincent and Grenadines and Jamaica was named, right? This is the squad. The squad, I'm been informed. Can you guys see this really well? Do I have to blow it up bigger? The squad supposedly has 9 local players in it. That's my understanding. You guys can tell if I'm wrong or not. Right? 9 local players in it. That's the squad. That's the Reggae Boyz squad. 3 goalkeepers. So we have Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake, and Jamal Wade. Nothing new, nothing expected. Defense, we have Richard King, Ethan Pinnock, Kyle Ming, Christopher Ainsworth. By the way, Ainsworth, I think, was Ainsworth the one who gave away the penalty yesterday? I think so. Dexter Lambakizi, Mari Bell, Joe Latibaudier, and Fitzroy Cummins. In the midfield, we have Isaac, Jashawn Anglin, Bobby Reed, McCullough, Palmer, and McGee. The midfield look weak, man, tell a star. And then we have Leon Bailey, Demari Gray, Nicholson, Dixon, Cephas, and Brown added. So nothing concerning in the defense, goalkeeper, defense, even forward line, because we know Antonio's out. So I'll repeat. Here's my first observation. That's why I asked the question I did today. We're not bringing in any new blood from overseas. None. Now, I saw today where Tuchel didn't include a few players like Morgan Gibbs-White and Spence, right? Jed Spence. And I've always thought that Jed Spence, I watched Jed Spence play against Arsenal, I think it was 4 years ago for Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. They knocked us out. And he shut down Martinelli. And I thought we'd pursue him. The problem we have is we don't have a recruiting strategy. Hey, people, so the coach said to me when he answered my question today, I laugh at people. Because the coach knows me know when I tell me I'm more than when I tell me no. Sometimes I ask rhetorical questions for a reason. That was a rhetorical question. Right? But I want him to provide the answer. And I didn't like the answer to my second question, which I'll talk about. But the fact of the matter, there are some players out there, people, who, if you catch them before they get to a certain level, you have the best chance of capping them and keeping them. You can't know left back, right wing, and then you want to pursue him in England. Say, you know what? Hey, my youth, we'll watch you now. So we'll keep your eye on you. No, we're going away. We'll keep your eye on you. We can't bring you in this window. We'll bring you in next window. You are behind the time. You are behind the time. I'm telling you, people, sometimes I'm pulling my hair out and I don't have any hair. I'm pulling it out big time. Like, I'm just vexed. I mean, listen to some people sometimes, like, some people in my chat who say, Cranky, you go like you know everything. It's not that you know everything in the people. It's that you know what you know, and you see what's happening, and you're like, well, why can't these people see this? What is so difficult about that? Now, I'm sure the people in Jamaica love that we have 9 local players in the team. I don't care if we have 50. But are the 9 players good enough? That's the question. Are they good enough? And if they're not good enough, and wait, by the way, let's go to the press conference. I must stop it with the player because he said something after one of my questions, which I thought was interesting. So let's go to the press conference, people.
Here, it's the squad announcement press
Let's go to
conference
the press
for the
conference.
upcoming CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims
Can you guys
against
hear
St.
this?
Vincent and the Grenadines, March 21 at the Arnasville Stadium in St. Vincent and March 25 at Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica. We're joined with the head coach of the Jamaica senior men's national team, Coach Steve McLaren. Before our coach gets into some opening remarks, we're going to show on the screen quite briefly the squad, and then Coach McLaren will get into some opening remarks. After Coach McLaren's opening remarks, we'll put the squad back up on the screen, and then we'll go into the question and answer segment. So just to run through the names for everybody: goalkeepers, Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake, Jamali Waite; defenders, Richard King, Ethan Pinnock, Kyle Ming, Christopher Ainsworth, Dexter Lembekisa, Amari Bell, Joel Latibaudier, Fitzroy Cummings; midfielders, Isaac Hayden, Joshawn Anglin, Bobby Reed, Sule McCullough, Casey Palmer, and Tyreek McGee. And the forwards, Leon Bailey, Demarai Gray, Shamar Nicholson, Kaheem Dixon, Ronaldo Cephas, and Warner Brown. We now turn over to Coach McLaren, who will get into some opening remarks. Coach, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I've got to say this morning, I woke up quite buoyed after last night. Great night at the National Stadium. Cavaliers against Inter Miami. And what it was to see the stadium full house. I know we nearly got it against the USA, but to see a full house, that's the goal. I said to everybody, all the staff, everybody I spoke to this morning, that's the goal, to fill the stadium. So it was great to see. What a great game. Spirited, I thought, performance from Cavaliers. And yeah, the most important thing for, I suppose, all the supporters was to see Messi playing. Not many people get and are fortunate to see Messi live, but Jamaica saw that last night. So we appreciate that from him, because he didn't have to come. I spoke to Mascherano before the game, and yeah, he said he wanted Messi to come and to play for the Jamaican people. So that's what he did. So we thank them for that. So it was a great night and a great performance by Cavaliers. The squad, we have obviously some injuries within that squad. We have Dishon Bernard, Greg Lee, Mason Holgate, who just pulled out yesterday. He has been playing in pain with his toe, and the club want to operate on that next week. They need him to play Saturday, so he'll have an injection and then an operation to remove a blackened toenail next week. So he's not eligible for us. And as we know, Antonio is recovering remarkably well. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Really positive, really in good form in his rehab. He's on the treadmill, he's running, and he tells me he's going to be ready for the summer. Knowing Mikel, that could happen. So we keep our fingers crossed for that. And also Romario Williams, I spoke to last week and this week, who also has an injury. He's in pre-season. He is playing, awaiting surgery, which he needs, and so not available for this. One person, Damien Lowe, is not available. He's fit, but not available. He has personal issues, which he needs to sort out next week. So he's not available for the first leg, but we've put him on standby for the second leg. So we see the outcome of that one. It's great that we can name 9 local players. And the reason for that, I think, is obviously injuries to come to the squad, but to give them opportunities. The camp we had a few weeks ago, the 2 games against Trinidad, the work for nearly 5 days with them gave me a great insight into the abilities, the characters, and I really enjoyed that camp, really enjoyed the 2 games. And from that working with them has given me confidence in which I can put them in the squad and know that they will do the job. So that's good. For the camp and the squad, I think we've enough experience in there from, on Red
Boo!
Lake.
I don't
We
mean
have,
you. I mean JD
Pinnock. We
fans
have Lefty.
everywhere.
We have Amari Bell, Isaac Hayden, Palmer, Bobby Reed, welcome him back. Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Shamar, all experienced players. And, we expect them to step up and see us through and get us into the Gold Cup. One other item concerning the staff, Richard Hartis, who was my assistant and goalkeeping coach, has, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, moved to Besiktas in Turkey with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he's the goalkeeping coach there. But I got to say, after speaking with him, he wants to still work with Jamaica, and he's volunteered his services to come and help us qualify for the World Cup and the Gold Cup. And so he's coming in the capacity of just goalkeeping coach, which left the assistant role vacant. And I filled that with Paul Simpson, who you might have seen in the last camp for the local players. Paul, we played together. I coached him. He's been my assistant twice at Derby and Newcastle. And what he brings is unbelievable experience of actually winning a World Cup for England, under 20s World Cup in South Korea in 2017. So he knows what it takes to qualify for a World Cup, and he knows what it takes to win a World Cup. So his experience will be invaluable in helping myself, the players, the staff, and the JFF to accomplish our goal. We come up next week in this camp against St. Vincent and Grenadines. What do we know about them? We've watched them for 6 games in Bonaire, Montserrat, and El Salvador, twice each. So we've watched 6 games. And this is not going to be an easy game. El Salvador, they beat them at home, and they should have beat them again, but conceded a last-minute goal against. But they had 2 great games against El Salvador, and we know the team has got good attitude. They play with each other regular, so they know each other. They've got a great spirit and great attitude, and players in the front 4 who can hurt you. My first job is to make sure that we don't approach this game complacently. And we'll be certainly showing clips of St. Vincent and Grenadines, the strengths and how they can hurt us. If we're not right in terms of attitude, this can be a very, very difficult game for us. Our goal is really to get the job done, to qualify for the Gold Cup. It's important we do that. Important for various reasons. To do that, keep the ranking high so we get better qualification, better seeding in groups, we hope, coming up. What I want, my final message before I take questions, it's a World Cup year. It's a big year. It's a year in which we've got a great opportunity, an opportunity not achieved since '98 of qualifying for the World Cup. And everybody has to be together. Everybody has to be together. Everybody has to work together. And what I expect is, from the top to the bottom, I expect the JFF to provide us with the tools necessary to make sure that the players and the staff and everybody get the equipment and everything that we need to be able to achieve the goal of the World Cup 26. We expect the players to show commitment, attitude, and professionalism, which is the key thing, and make sure that they know this is it's a one-off opportunity to qualify for the World Cup, and the players must have that commitment attitude, focus, and above all, sacrifice. I think it's a year of sacrifice for Jamaica, for each other, for the supporters. So everybody has to do that. The staff, to show their expertise, we need that to be available and make sure that they're supported. And ultimately, I think I come full circle. I saw a full house, 35,000 in the National Stadium last night. We had 29 against the US. We want a full house again. And we'll only achieve that if we're successful and heading towards the World Cup. So the supporters get behind the teams through thick and thin. There will be ups and downs. There will be disappointments. There will be highs. But make sure that we all stick together from top to bottom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach McLaren, for that. We'll now open the floor for questions from members of the media. Mr. Spence, good morning. You can go ahead. Please unmute, and then you
Coach, can you hear me, Coach?
I can, yeah.
Coach, I was in St. Louis to watch a Jamaica versus USA game, and there seems to be a significant gulf in quality between the two teams. And as such, from where I sit, it seems we need better players. I also watched the JPL games, some games, 2 matches against Trinidad, and Cavalier recent matches against Inter Miami. Now, it appears, based on what I observed, the quality doesn't reside locally. However, we have a vast pool of eligible players in the diaspora, yet the recruitment process seems more reactive than strategic. As such, what structured approach, if any, is in place to actively scout, track, and engage its players before they commit elsewhere? And what are you doing specifically to source these players?
Yeah, when I took the job, recruitment was probably, apart from the squad players, the players that were already playing, the next most important job was scouring Europe, America, wherever we could, for dual nationals, players who could play for Jamaica. And all we're looking for is to develop and improve the present squad, and to improve the present squad by recruitment. That recruitment process started from day one, with conversations with a host of players, England, Europe, in the USA as well. And that's ongoing. I think we spoke about this a few months ago, about, you know, what it takes to get a passport in Jamaica. And the process is very long. It's very patient wearing. And we have several players now who are very close to achieving the passport that is required for them to play for Jamaica. It's been too slow. The process hasn't been, sometimes we're flying and sometimes we're close, and then we're far away. There's a lot of things to get a passport, and a lot of documents that the players have to collect, and documents from, you talk about grandparents, so 30, 40 years ago, trying to find birth certificates, etc. In the parishes in Jamaica has been very difficult. But we're on with about 5 or 6, and we're only going to recruit players who can improve the present squad and the present team. So that has always been the goal from day one. That process is ongoing. There are a lot of people, especially in the UK, who are working towards that. A lot of people over here also, Devon Porter and Ian Campbell, through Roy Simpson, are working to get the Europeans nationalised so that they can play. Our goal is to have them available we have 2 friendlies in the UK at the end of May, 2 World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully we get through the next 2 games, the Gold Cup, and then hopefully we have the group stage of the World Cup. So we have a bit of time. We'd like them earlier. It's not been possible, but we're working damn hard to make sure that we better the players, better the squad, better the talent that we've got in there.
You have a follow.
So this is a reaction video, people. That's where I'm doing it this way. So my question was rhetorical in some respects. I know what we're doing recruiting wise, right? Later on, he'll mention Devon, and he'll mention Ian as an individual. I know all of this. The question was more around what is he doing? I know he brought Hayden over the line, and Holgate was out there already. I don't see any young, gifted players who are not well known who are coming into the mix. I was watching a program on YouTube the other day. There's a kid from the US. I forgot what his name is. He brought up 5 or 6 players of Jamaica heritage who he thinks should be considered. There are a couple of them I thought were really interesting cases. We're not seeing any of this. He's going for old, recycled players who they know. My question was about where's the strategic recruiting construct that's in place to go source players? Being able to provide to them a convincing reason and rationale as to why they should choose Jamaica over their home country or otherwise. A player like Jed Spence, who was left out of England squad, if you had him on the radar and you had made a convincing case, you may just tip him over the fence and say, you know what, England doesn't respect me, I'm going to come play for Jamaica. Now, I know about Jed Spence. I've talked to people who have talked to his people, and he has aspirations to play for England. But the pursuit needs to be such where, you know what, these kids know they have alternatives and they can be convinced, right? I don't see where this coach is saying what he's doing. I'm going to play, before I play my next question, I'm going to play Tuco's response when he was asked a similar question about working remotely to the one I asked subsequently. Listen to the 2 responses and compare them. It's important, people, when you're doing anything nowadays, to have dealing with excellence and people who have certain capability to do things for you, who you employ and you deploy. It's very important. Let me see if I can find here what Tuco says, and then we can play how he responded to my question. Let me see if I can find it.
Questioning of the working arrangements that the FA have granted you in the early weeks of your tenure, the fact that you appear to have missed some Premier League weekends when going back to Germany. What did you make of that scrutiny? What would you say about it, and will it continue?
I think you confused the time a little bit between October and January, because I was many times in Germany and enjoyed my time off because I was not on the job. Since I'm actually on the job, I am based in London. I spent many days regularly in St. George's Park. We watched, I think, almost 25 matches live to see every player.
Sorry. Sorry, people.
Questioning of the working arrangements that the FA have granted you in the early weeks of your tenure, the fact that you appear to have missed some Premier League weekends when going back to Germany. What did you make of that scrutiny? What would you say about it, and will it continue?
I think you confused the time a little bit between October and January, because I was many times in Germany and enjoyed my time off because I was not on the job. Since I'm actually on the job, I am based in London. I spent many days regularly in St. George's Park. We watched, I think, almost 25 matches live to see every player.
But that was his response. I don't want to play the whole thing, people. That was his response, right? He said the reporter is confusing things. What was embedded in the reporter's question is this: you're the England coach and you have missed some Premier League weekends, right? Meaning, we expect you to be here watching all the players in all the games to then allow you to do an assessment. And then he went on to say they've watched he's at the center where they play football, St. James, where they have the center for the England team, and he's watched 25 games, people. Right? That means he can go game live, go watch them, then I'll watch them some remote thing. Here is McLaren response to my question.
Follow up, Mr. Spence?
Yeah, I do. I just watched the press conference with Thomas Tuchel, the England press conference, and he was asked the question about the working arrangement he has with the England FA. And the question was more around, can you actually work remotely? And he noted this was only in the inception of the role, that he's been to over 25 games, only goes back to Germany to be with his family. You are currently working remotely. Can you truly be effective in your role working remotely? And do you go out to see potential recruits and go to a number of games to watch them to see if they can add value to your team?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do and will continue to do.
I have no effing idea what the answer is about. First of all, I thought the answer was disrespectful. Second of all, maybe I'm being sensitive. That's what you do. How many games have you been to? Where have you been to those games? You see, you scour Europe for talent. Where in Europe have you been in talent? Have you been to Germany? Have you been to Holland? What are we talking about here? You don't give me some flippant answer to a serious question about how you're working remotely and sourcing talent for the national team. That's why I'm gonna stop covering this football. This is a joke thing, people. And if you don't want to deal with them nonsense, you can't deal with it. Me not deal with it. Me not want to be part of this. Disrespectful. Tuchel entertained the question with a smile and gave an elaborate answer as to what he actually does. You can't tell what you've done, can you not do nothing, or you don't think it was important enough for you to elaborate in terms of what you do. Exactly what you do? Really? How does that work? We see you in Jamaica once in a while. You come down there just before the international win, then you run back to your yard. And that's okay, Rudolph. That's okay, Mr. Ricketts. That's okay, Dennis. They're not party shop, they're not joke thing. And you guys can get vexed all you want. I don't care. That's not how we're supposed to operate. You're getting paid. This is not no luxurification job. We want to go to the World Cup. We want to go watch games. When we go to the World Cup, we want to compete. We don't just want to be there because we want to attend and be all happy. This is a joke thing, people. And some of you guys say Cranky too fussy and he's getting upset about nothing and he thinks it's important. And football gurus say he think he knows everything. I have worked around an environment where I expect excellence. I expect respect. I expect us to continue to improve and get better. And I expect us to be the best at what we can be. I'm not seeing that. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing that. The answer to me was flippant. I'm not because it was my question. That's exactly what I do. You're Thomas Tuchel? What do you mean that's exactly what you do? That's not what you do. That's nonsense. So anyway, I don't understand people. Maybe I'm too be sensitive. I don't understand.
Thank you, Mr. Spence. Matthew, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Coach. Can you hear me?
I can, Matthew.
Yes. Good morning, Simon, as well. Coach, Lewis Baker, he was recently recalled from his loan at Blackburn, and he's been in fine form for Stoke this year. What, if anything, can you tell us about your recruitment for Lewis? And is he someone that Jamaican fans can expect to see sometime soon?
I'm not going to discuss individual players that we're looking at and what stage they're at. Lewis is on the list. And another one that the process is very slow. But yeah, it's great to see him playing for Stoke, playing very well. We're in constant contact with him and the process goes on.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Matthew. Dre, good morning. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. This is Jerry from Dre Innovative Sports. So,
when this is done, I'll answer Jura's question and Ricardo about what I expect in his answer.
how much of an influence did the caliber of opponent have on the selection of this squad? And I have another question after that.
We know this is going to be a difficult game. So the squad that we pick is the strongest that is available to us at this present time, what I think, and a squad that is good enough to get the job done. It's with experience, players who have played regular. We welcome back a lot of players who haven't played for us since October, like Bobby Reid, like Ethan Pinnock. So we're confident that we can get the job done with the squad that we've got, and it's the strongest squad I believe that we could pick.
Okay, and also from last night's game, I'm not sure if you watch it, but were there any players that you were impressed with their individual performances from the Cavaliers team, of course?
Yeah, obviously, you know, we were there to, and I've seen Cavaliers probably more than any other team, so I know the players well. We had them in camp also. And yeah, some players were very, very close and now really on standby for the squad because we've had injuries already this week. We've got a weekend to go, so we'll probably get more injuries and fallout. So we need replacements, and no hesitation. We have players in the UK, but also local players now. You know, we've included King is an integral part of our squad and our team. Ainsworth obviously comes into that as well, but they have many good players. We've looked at Atkinson, at Calvin. Shamar Watson, Adrian Reed. So there are many good players in the Cavaliers squad and team, and they proved that over the 2 legs against Inter Miami. So there's talent on this island. I know that now. I've worked with them, and we'll continue to do that.
Thanks, Dre. Livingston, Scott, good morning.
Yes, morning, coach.
Morning.
Yes, coach. I just wanted to ask you about Warner Brown. We have a number of striker in the squad, but you chose him as the local striker to choose. Just give me your insight into your selection of Warner Brown.
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of Warner Brown before the camp a few weeks ago. I liked him in camp. He was a goal scorer. The game we went to see him, Arnott Gardens, he scored a hat-trick. And so it was quite easy to include him in that squad. And he's one of them who I think can help us impact. He's a goal scorer. He's quick. He runs behind, and he's got an eye for goal. And we haven't got in the number 9 position anywhere in the UK or even on the island, really standout strikers that we can pick. Shamar Nicholson comes in. Antonio was obviously our number 1. Romario Williams was also effective in the 2 games, 2 camps that we had before the new year. I liked him, but unfortunately we can't get him. So the number 9 is a position in which we need to find that hidden gem. So Shamar, Warner Brown have got an opportunity this week in the 2 games to seal a place.
Okay, thank you.
So in terms of his response, so Dre asked the question about any player who he was impressed with. Did he provide a name for any player? Was he being political to say, I don't want to call it any single player? He watched the Cavalier game. Did he walk away and say anybody played well that drove my attention? He didn't mention one name. So I assume that he was being political, or is it that he didn't see anybody he was impressed with, but he found a way to work around the question? That's the question we should ask.
Just want to ask, coach, just as I said, a lot of local players in the squad. Will we get to see a mix? Are you showing some confidence in some of these players?
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to, we have joined up on Monday. We have 3 days preparation, which gives us good time to look at the players and find the right balance of the team. And as I say, it's not those who start, it's also the finishers. So it's a squad game, and I believe we've got a strong enough squad to get through.
Thank you, Livingston. Simon Stone from the BBC. Good afternoon, Si.
Simon!
Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. Good to see
Listen,
you.
I'm good.
Just got a couple of questions. I mean, first of all, did you say you were playing a couple of friendlies in England at the end of this season? And also, what conversations have you had with Michail Antonio? Because obviously when the accident happened, it looked horrific, and a lot of people wondered whether he would actually play again anyway. From what he's saying, he sounds pretty confident that that's going to happen. And do you think he's capable of playing at international level this summer?
Yeah, he certainly seems to think so. And you know, Michail is a warrior. He's come from non-league, and he's fought his way through, playing in the Premier League, playing in top games, Europe, and playing internationally for Jamaica and making an impact wherever he goes. I mean, it was horrendous, the accident. We spoke to him a couple of days after that accident. And he's one of them that I never really knew him I knew him on the field because he's always a pest whenever we played against him. But off the field, he's a true character. Great for the squad, always bubbly, always positive. And we missed that. Not just he's on the field, but off the field. I spoke to him 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's on the treadmill. He's running. He's looking to go out and he's confident that that he will come back, and he's aiming to come back for the summer period, or hopefully our World Cup qualifying group, which will be September, October, November. So that's his goal. The one thing that he's got, he said, he's got motivation, and when Warriors have got motivation, they tend to achieve the goal. And his goal is to be fit in the summer to help Jamaica qualify.
Thank you. And just, I know you don't want to talk about individual players, but is there any update on the Mason Greenwood situation?
Not really. The ball is in his court. He knows that. He's settling nicely in Marseille, despite some run-ins with De Zerbi just recently. But he's loving his football. We're in contact all the time, him and his family. And I'm very confident that he only wants to play for Jamaica. So every conversation is, I only want to play for Jamaica. And it's up to him when he wants to move forward with that. And I think we are at the present moment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sai. All right, Jason Hall, good morning.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, everyone here. My question, obviously, to Coach, I had a question on Ravel Morrison. He was added, of course, for the second leg of the USA match for the Nations League, but was an unused substitute. Was he in consideration for selection for this squad and just didn't quite make it? Or do you have anything to say on Ravel?
Yeah, I mean, I know Ravel, and we brought him in and we thought he could impact. We had injuries, and there was, I think, a question earlier about the golfing quality ourselves in the USA, which was apparent, especially in that second game. We missed a lot of players for that. Holgate was out, Pinnock was out. We didn't have Antonio. We didn't have Bobby Reed and Casey Palmer in the second. So we were.
You notice he mentioned 5 overseas players that he didn't have, and he alluded to the golfing quality and talent that I mentioned before. Just pick up these things, people, as he talked. That was 5 overseas players he mentioned. So those of you who talk about cranky and then local players, and you hear local players, listen to your coach. He agreed he was a golfing talent. He mentioned 5 players he was missing. None of them were local players.
We were down on half a team of quality. So you could see that gulf. Then players have come back in, and we're looking to keep that strength.
Okay, thank you. And my next.
So here's the problem I have with press conferences. I'm probably going to stop to go to a minute. It's very frustrating when you ask a question, you don't get answer to your question, and you can't ask a follow-up question because Simon only give you 2. And I understand. Time is limited. They want to give everybody a chance. He never answered the question on Ravel. He smiled and said, no, Ravel, and we brought him in when we were short. He didn't play him. He didn't say we're going to bring him back. That's why we exclude him. He evaded the question. And you can't follow up because Simon doesn't allow you to follow up. And Simon might think I'm not beating him, but you can't follow up. So what's the story with Ravel? You don't call him. He's not good enough. He's not playing at a high level. You didn't answer the question. That's why you hear me talk about respect and get frustrated. You did not answer the question. You can smile and say you know him, and you brought him in, and you didn't play him, and we spent about $5,000 to $10,000 to bring him here, and for no reason. You said there was a golfing talent and class, and Ravel is supposed to be one of those people with talent. You didn't play him to narrow that gap in talent on the field. I am confused. I'm just confused, people. I mean, I get it. Maybe just me being overly, but I don't get it.
Question is more about the local contingent. We have 9 players from the JPL in this squad of 23. In the past, when we have picked local players, you have kind of made mention that you've kind of leaned on your staff that might be more familiar with the players. Where would you say you are currently with your own knowledge of the local players? And is it a case where now you feel confident in making these decisions? Obviously, you're going to lean on your staff as well, but maybe not as much as before.
No, I think from the start of the job and the first 3 camps that we had, we relied heavily on Merrin Gordon and the local staff that we've got in terms of players outside of the UK, on the island, and even in MLS, USL. players of that caliber, we relied on them. The big advantage is that over them 3 camps that we've had, we've seen a lot of players because of injuries. We've had to call in players, and we've looked at some and looked at others and discovered some gems and others who were not good enough. And we just felt that the camp in January that we had in the games in February against Trinidad.
So this is Cranky being critical again. He said he discovered some gems. Do you guys know who those gems are? Because he said he had camps and he discovered some gems. Do we know who those gems are? Are those the gems that are in the current team? The 9 local. It's not all. I got to look at the local base players, but we say we have some gems. He didn't mention who the gems are, but I would love to see who the gems are. And this is not to be critical of anybody. I just want to know who the names are that he's alluding to so we can see how they play.
Working with the players closely, day in, day out, living with them in hotels and the technical centre, that we got to know these players very well, the habits, the character. And in that 3-week period that I was over, watched a lot of games, but working with them, that's where you truly see the players. So it was great, that camp, and great working with them. And you're absolutely right. That gives me confidence that I didn't have before in terms of the quality and the character of local players. Now that I've seen them at close hand, no hesitation in putting local players in who I think are the best for the job, best for the squad, and especially for these 2 games.
Thank you, Jason. Brian Martin, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Simon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, coach. Just a question on 2 players. So in the local Premier League, we have an attacking midfielder called Nikhil Ellis, who's actually been doing pretty well. Do you know anything about him? And also, recently, we had a U17 World Cup qualification, which we had a young striker, Seymour Reid. I noticed you mentioned strikers just now. He's a young player who's been training with his MLS outfit and is also playing in the MLS Next Pro. Any reasons as to why he couldn't have been invited in this camp?
Yeah, we've got a little bit for experience, but we certainly know the boy Fuller. And while we were over the last camp, we did have a couple of days at the technical centre where the under-17s were preparing for their camp. So we saw a lot of them players and the ability and the talents that they've got, and that was apparent in the games. Unfortunately, they got knocked out unexpectedly when probably they expected to go through. And yes, I think you're absolutely right. We need to look at these players even closer because age is not anything. If they're talented and they're good enough and they're better than what you've got, no doubt we will put them in. So these are 2 players that we've got on the radar, and we will certainly be following. As I say, for the summer, we've got heavy recruitment already in process, and different names coming to us every day, not just players in England, but also in America and other countries. So recruitment is certainly one of them important aspects of building this squad so it's strong enough to qualify for the World Cup.
Thank you, Brian. Daniel Blake, the Observer. Good morning, Daniel.
Hi, good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach.
Hi, Daniel.
First question in regards to Leon Bailey. After he had scored in the first leg against Club Brugge in the Champions League, he said he was really looking forward to playing in the Gold Cup qualifiers and eventually making it to the Gold Cup. He also admitted that he's had a fairly tough season, but he's a warrior, like you mentioned, similarly with Michail Antonio. What have your conversations been with him since that last USA game in November. I know that he's been sort of in and out of the Aston Villa team, but how much confidence have you seen from him in recent games and just in your conversations with him?
Yeah, the conversations are always positive and very honest. We were very honest after the 2 USA games, and we followed him. I follow him very, very closely. And it's no coincidence, Unai Emery, he, you know, when the big games are on, when they have to win, he always puts Leon in the team. He's got a lot of games, a lot of rotation going on. That's why he's in and out. His fitness is good when he plays. He feels good and plays well. And, you know, you trust the judgment of top managers, and Unai Emery is a top manager. And when he picks Leon for the best games, and he's certainly over the last few weeks, certainly impacted whenever he's played. And that's what we expect. And that's the conversation that we have with Leon and everybody, Damari Gray, anybody who comes, you know, what you're doing for your club. That's why you picked. Come and do it for Jamaica. And that's what we expect.
Yeah, and second question, in all of the squads that you've chosen, you've given a lot of credit to your assistant Meron Gordon, who has been able to, you know, help you with some of the local players and some of them who were, you know, based in some of the European countries and in America and so forth. Have you gotten more comfortable in squad selection, especially after having that camp, knowing more of the local players while trying to blend that in with the European-based players?
Yeah, I think when I got the job, took the job, you know, I knew the squad. I knew the UK-based players within that squad. I knew the UK-based players that the JFF have been trying to recruit as well. The one thing I didn't know was the local talents. How good they were. And as you're saying rightly, I gained confidence in terms of selecting local players. One through Meron Gordon very early on. And the second was the camp that we've had, working close hand every day, coaching, building relationships, seeing them actually with the Jamaican shirt on. And is it too heavy for some players? We certainly saw that. And it gives me a lot more confidence in saying, yes, I think he can do a job, because I know the quality that's required. So yes, I think present squad, players we're trying to recruit, and now local players, and seeing a lot more games. I'm a lot more confident in what is available on this island.
Thank you, Daniel. We now go to CC. Go ahead. CC, good morning. You can unmute.
Yes, I have unmuted. Sorry about that. Good morning, coach. Good morning. You heard me, coach?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Yes, so coach, my question surrounds the fact that when you mentioned about number nines, right? And not being limited option. But there's a couple players that I think seems to be the forgotten soldiers of Jamaican football, in even the fact I think you have a Trivante Stewart right now who plays in the Serbian top league. He's played 90% of the games. I think he's been 24 games, 7 goals, 3 assists. That's 10 goal contribution. I haven't really seen him gotten a call up. I think there was a situation surrounding him around about the same time with Leon Bailey. I would like to know if he's being looked at or being considered in future, and as well as the young man Shakwani Satchwell, who is also 20 years old, can play the position of centre forward, left winger, second striker.
Yeah, we're monitoring all the players around Jervis, Serbia, Israel, as you say, Van East. We know well. Yeah, we're monitoring them all. We know them all, and you know, through the facility of Y Scout, we're very fortunate that we can see any player around the world. So yeah, and we're getting names every day. So if you've got names, mention them to Simon. We certainly check everybody out.
Yes, so as I said though, coach, that's one thing in terms of, as I said, the two players that I'd mentioned, but even the other player, Junior Flemings, who was in the UAE, and I think he scored 7 goals in 15 appearances as well. So I just wanted to know, in essence, if sometimes maybe the distance or anything, but especially for this window, if those players don't get the opportunity right now, when it comes down to World Cup qualification, where it's a little bit more serious, would they also still be in consideration, given the fact that, as I said, they are playing in leagues that have the possibility of them competing in the Champions League, in Trevante Stewart especially, because he's in the championship round now with his team.
Yeah, as I said before, any players that might be in the far corners, playing in countries that are not well known to us, then please let us know. But we're certainly, through Y Scout, we're onto that through people, through our scouts, our network. We get players, I can play for Jamaica coming in. Please give us a trial. Come watch me. We've got that many. I think now is the time where we have to have a little bit of a laser focus. We were quite broad in terms of our recruitment and looking at players before the new year. In World Cup year, now we need to be laser focused. And really, we've got a good squad, a good foundation of the squad. And really, anybody who can improve that, the door is never closed.
Thank you very much, CC. Thank you very much, members of the media, for being present.
All right, people. So that was the press conference. As I've always said, it's difficult sometimes in this press conference because you only get 2 questions and you can't follow up question. Now, Drew Ross and someone else says, Cranky, I'm going to infer what they're saying. The coach gave you an answer, which you may not have liked. How should you have answered the question? When I asked the question about him working remotely and how can he be effective basically working remotely, and I gave him the Tuchel example, and he said, we're doing the same thing. So to substantiate, when you provide an evidentiary matter, to substantiate your answer for something that you're doing, you give the evidence to inform the questioner so they can walk away feeling, you know what? Yes, it was sufficient. Is he doing the same thing Tuchel was doing? Is he going to 25 games? How do I know? Did he say I go to a lot of games? I went to games to watch Holgate. I've been to game to watch Pinnock. I've been to game to watch XYZ. Did he say that? Tuchel say he will go to 25 games, and he explained the situation about his family, and it was the early part of it. He gave an elaborate explanation so the questioner or the media can fully understand he's involved with the football. Say he was at St. James's Park and he's there and doing XYZ. This coach lives in England. He comes here during the window and then go back home yard. For those of you who are saying, Cranky, you're asking too much, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. He's not here all the time. He's getting paid, unless he's getting paid part-time just to be here. He didn't, I mean, I don't see every game, but I don't remember him saying he's going to one game to watch anybody. He talked to Mason Greenwood all the time. You ask him questions about Mason Greenwood, any answer he give, I can give those answers myself. I don't know what you guys are talking about sometimes. That's why I get frustrated, I know what you guys are talking about sometimes. I'm sitting here listening, thinking, either the coach say, you know what, hey, Cranky, go ahead. No respect, I'm not going to ask me some question. If that's it, then that's fine. That's why I'm going to consider going back to any press conferences. Seriously. I'm going to allow you guys to go there, ask a question, or the media do their thing. I can stay in the background and play them subsequently and comment on them. But I'm going to stay out because I'm not going to press conference when I ask a question, I don't get the answer. I answer that make any sense. And I should just, you get minute and a half crying to ask 2 questions, and then you go away. Sorry, not buying that. And maybe I'm into myself in terms of how I think and how I operate. That's just me. The Ravel question that was asked by Jason Gunnar, that question was not answered. Why you didn't call Ravel? I didn't call Ravel because he's playing someplace else. He's not playing well, XYZ. It wasn't answered. I know Ravel well and I smile. Please. So I got a comment from someone says he answered your question well. In your mind, he did. In my mind, he didn't. And a number of people's mind, he didn't. He didn't answer my question well. He didn't answer Jason Gunnar's question well. In fact, he didn't answer Jason Gunnar at all. At least you could say mine was short and concise and to the point and moved on. He didn't answer Jason Gooden's question. His question was about Ravel and whether you didn't invite him. And frankly, when I look at the midfield, I'm not overly impressed with this midfield. Casey Palmer has not played well, right? Bobby Reed playing for Leicester, not getting a lot of game time. Tyreek McGee has not been playing well. He played 2 games in Trinidad, didn't know he was on the field. Isaac Hayden, he played well against US. He's done okay. McCullough, can't talk much about. Where's the midfield? Why can't keep Ravel out? Who is the midfielder going to keep Ravel out of this team? Even when he's on the big porch with a big belly, I oversee some garden someplace. Who's going to keep him out of this team, frankly? Really? And then people going like, going to think like I know everything, like I know football. The coach making decision. Yes, he made a decision. But just like how the English media can query the coach and challenge the coach and ask about Rashford and ask about James and ask about Henderson and ask about Nwaneri and ask about Lewis. We can also ask questions, people. We're not dummies. We also have a mind. We also have thoughts. We also have questions. Why is it that our questions are a problem and the English media questions are not a problem? I'm not talking about this between the coach. I'm just talking about in general. Some of you guys are pushing back on us. Why can't we ask questions and they can ask questions? And you guys don't have a problem with that. Why is that? I don't understand. Or is it because we think we're lesser and we're not as intelligent and we're not as smart and we don't have the capability to ask questions and get answers? Or we're not respected enough to get responses to our questions? If that's the case, I don't want to be in this space. I don't want to be in this space. Seriously. I was talking to a friend of mine about, he gave me a hard time. He's in the chat too. So then you have a conversation the other day and I say, you know what? I think I'm going to stick to my Trump commentary and all that because I'm getting much more subscribers. Even though I get a lot of pushback. And he was like, yeah, but you got to still cover Jamaica football. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I just, the constant fight that I have with the JFF, maybe I'm the one who's starting all these fights. The constant back and forth with like Rudolph, the constant back and forth with all these people, the couple of you know what in the chat, like Football Guru and this idiot from Westmoreland, I'm not going to call his name, you don't deserve it, who keeps saying that I'm born in Jamaica. I don't really need that, especially I'm getting 1 and 2 subscribers again. I telecast. I waste my time. I don't like waste time, you know. If you're not getting a return on your investment, people, you got to change what you're doing. I'm going to say that again. If you invest your time and effort and work in something and you're not seeing a return on your investment, you have to pivot. All right? You have to pivot. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I am going to take a break from these press conferences because I don't want to be in an environment where I feel like, you know what? I'm not afforded the response that I think is warranted, but I see other coach in other environment getting response because they respect their media. That's how I see it. You can see I'm being sensitive. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to say this right now. I'm taking a break from these press conferences. I will observe. I will listen. I may play them, but I'm not going to play these press conferences. Nah, I get frustrated. I don't want to get frustrated. What else did I have here to say? Because I jotted on a few things. He's talked about all this talent he's worked with on the island. So if we have all this talent on the island, why aren't we seeing it manifest itself in games? So, Football Guru, I almost said something to people. Okay, you know, so me get hot under the collar sometime. Football Guru, being a moron is not a redeeming quality. That's all I say. Being a moron is not a redeeming quality. That's all I say. And I'll move on. Being a moron is not a redeeming quality, Football Guru. Go back to the JFF in your whole way there. Stay in the whole way there. Go back to the JFF, Football Guru, where you are, in the hole you reside, and stay in your hole. That's why I gave you that thing at the award ceremony. Go in your hole behind your computer and stay here. Get off my program. Just take off your subscription and go about your business. I know they send you here as a mole to upset me, and you're doing a brilliant job. I admit that. Now be lost. You're getting on my nerves. Because you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. No sense. No sense. Keep doing the same thing over and over again. By the way, people, as I said, let me calm down. Let me drink some water, people. Okay, now I'm getting heated. I'm having a program on Tuesday. I'm supposed to have a special guest. This is not football, though. I know if I don't just want to talk football. The program's supposed to be about should the diaspora be more involved in local affairs. And by the way, may I bring some evidence with me with other countries like Mexico where diaspora are involved. Can even vote in elections. Okay? Not just get involved, vote in elections, both local and at national level. Good evening.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think we all know you well by now. You know how much time you say I go stop this up and then not stop doing it.
So you know what? Hold me to it about the press conferences. Hold me to it.
I expect to see you in the next one, especially seeing that.
So put some money on it. Put some money on it. Some money on it. No, I'm not going back to the press conferences. At least not in the immediate. I'm not going back to the press conferences. I'm not. Okay, you know what? One is coming up. I'm not going back to the press conferences.
Just as much as they hold the TFF accountable, we the people should also hold them accountable. So let's see.
No, I'm not going. I'm telling you, I'm not going back to the press conferences. I'm going to leave that alone. First of all, when I used to go there, Sam and I used to have this battle because maybe I'm not raising my hand the right way, and it's a back and forth. I was just like, you know what? I got to be involved. So wait, give me 1 second. Somebody's trying to reach me here. I got to call them back. But no, I'm going to take a break from the press conferences because just to give it a break. The football, if you get a break from me. I mean, if you get football a break. I mean, if you agree, hey, football group, I agree with you. If you leave football alone, as I'm not telling me, so I'm in Jamaica and coming on Ghana, Jamaica, not leaving the football alone. Football guru, you should be celebrating and be happy now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But you remember when Lee Carsley was the caretaker at England, right? He brought in as many players as he could, especially the younger ones. And let's say that he was going to get the job, right? And he was using that as a window to look at the Morgan, Gibbs White, and some of these other respective players. And I think the reason as to why he did it was to let me assess the talent level of these players. Okay, I'm seeing them in the Premier League on a week in, week out basis, but let's see them for the national team, right? And I don't think we're using our windows enough to look at the younger players to see what their talent level is at in terms of, okay, we know how they play for the clubs, right? But in terms of in the national setting, we're not really doing that in our windows. And as I said before, the windows that we have coming up, it's not really for experiment moving forward, because you have the World Cup qualification and then you have the Gold Cup tournament in which you want a solid squad. So you're not going to bring through as much young players, in which I feel like this window we should have used this as a window to bring in, like, just for example, like the Brandon Cover, Delano Splat, and a lot of these other younger players. And I'm not saying bring in everybody because you realistically cannot bring in everybody, but the ones at least that have the passport and they're playing at a certain level, you assess them. And I look at this squad, 9 local players. I look at Tyree McGee, for example, and I'm looking at it from the standpoint, where is the merit, or on what merit did Tyree McGee get selected in this squad? You know what I'm saying? And I heard Speed recently said in an interview that flying out players for like some of these games against smaller teams, it's like expensive. And I'm saying to myself, if you look at England, for example, no matter the country, whichever country it is, as small as the country is, whether it's like Macedonia or some country, they always bring the strongest squad, and they always have a mixture of maybe 1 or 2 players in which they take a look at to see that if this player is a player for the future, in which we haven't really done that. In recent windows, we've only brought in players in which we've been chasing for years, and maybe we're desperate to get them in terms of them solving a problem. But in terms of thinking ahead for the future, or just looking for that one gem that can be exceptional for the national team, there's no player recently that's young that we've brought in where we can say, this player is an exceptional player that we can include in more upcoming windows. You know what I'm saying? And I think,
I guess here's what's disappointing, Pressa, which is, we know, I told you guys I have a long list of players of under 16 and under 20 or 19, right, who have Jamaican heritage. Some have passports, who should be considered, right? We say we want to give players opportunity, but the only players we're giving opportunity is locally born players for the national team. Even if you think about the players who were under 17 that are in the US, that was in the under 17 team, or any other players, how many of them have we given opportunity to bring into the team to say, you know what? If you're gonna bring in a Dixon, so we bring in another player from overseas who we think have potential, who may want to play for Jamaica, or we know can progress to the national team, bring them in. How many do we bring in? We know how many qualify and want to play. Have we brought in any of them? That's why you may ask a question about the more structure of the recruiting and the thoughtfulness of the recruiting and the process for recruiting. Either it's deliberate, because it's the first time I hear somebody mention Devon Porter's name. The coach just did. Because Devon I deal with the coach. He moved Devon name, right? There are people in the JFF don't give Devon no respect. I know this for a fact. They don't think he has attained certain things to get the respect afforded to him. And he's done 10 times more recruiting than any of them have done. Any of them. In fact, all of them added up don't do as much recruiting as he does, and he gets no respect. Don't ask me why he does it, because I don't stop it, do it long time. But he does it because he's a nationalist and he loves Jamaica. And he also has the gift of being able to persuade players or engage players. Now, there are people like in the chat like Football Guru who will deflate all of this and say it's nonsense because they don't know much. They're the people who should put in their back and just roll down a hill. They are moronic. And he say, "You calling me names?" Because you have called me names. And I keep telling you people, when you go low, I go below the earth. Because you have called me names in the chat enough time, Football Guru, so I'm calling you name. I don't call people name, don't call me name. Right? If you call me name, I'm going to go below, as you hear Shannon Sharp says, I'm going to go as low as possible I can go to come back at you. I don't turn the other cheek. None of that cheek business. Go ahead, Presser. If you want to turn the other cheek, I'm on the business.
You know, you talk about like, say for example, like the quota system, right? When you have the quota system and you don't bring in players as quickly as possible, it becomes more difficult when they get older and they're knocking on the door in terms of playing for England. And, you know, you look at a lot of these young players are around the age of like 20, 21. You know, football works through progression and regression, right?
Yeah.
The more you progress in terms of being consistent and, you know, applying your trade and becoming better with your skill set, more clubs will be looking at you in terms of better clubs because, you know, you're being consistent, you're scoring goals, or maybe you're a wonderful defender, right? And for a lot of these players, let's say in the future, they start to knock in terms of they make a transfer to the Premier League and they're playing for Everton or whatever. We've realized that in the last couple of years, England, they don't only look at the traditional top 5 or top 6 coach in terms of picking players. They go straight through the Premier League in terms of picking players. So if you have, let's say, predominantly more of these players start to play in the Premier League, it becomes even more difficult for Jamaica because they will even hold up more thinking that they have an opportunity of playing for a team like England, you know? Whereas no, we should be picking up these players and using this window, especially this World Cup window. Not saying bringing all 9 fresh players or whatever the case is, but at least 3, 4 or whatever are that in that sense, you know? And I just think we're wasting time with the football in terms of a lot of these players. It doesn't make sense. You know, we're wasting them.
Well, I think he mentioned and he created this expectation of bringing a lot of players in the summer for World Cup qualifiers, right? You hear him talk about that. Now, I assume the expectation is that Lewis Baker will get his papers and Greenwood may commit by then. I think Greenwood will take... By the way, people, when Greenwood might have finally signed the paper, how long will... I'm going to talk about that. Go on first. I'm going to talk about that. How long will it take for him to get his papers?
When we look at Europe, for example, and they talk about gems, it is referred to as young players, right?
Yeah.
So when he talks about gems for this national,
he's talking about locally based players. He's talking about locally based players. He ain't talking about overseas players. He's talking about locally based players. The ones you see, they're gems. The ones you're seeing, you just don't know. You don't know they're gems, but they're gems. You just don't know it.
And you know, I personally respect the players from the JPL, but you can't tell me that the JPL have more younger gems than the ones that we have in Europe.
Yeah, but look, I first of all, the coach will have to know what we have in Europe. First of all, I don't know. We have no clarity about the coach's role and exactly what he does. That's why you see me bring up the Tuchel question, because I listen to him. You can see he's actually going around watching games, having a lot of discussion with players. He's working. He's putting in the time because he knows he's going to be held accountable, right? Not only by performance, but by the press. I don't think we're doing the same thing.
But when the mandate, the person that would have heard this individual, right? When the mandate is to just qualify for the World Cup, I mean, I guess there's not much to do more than just select teams to try to eventually qualify for the World Cup. And I feel like with the knowledge that McLaren has, I think we should be extracting more from him to benefit the football in the short period of time that he will be here.
Right.
You know, this is a seasoned individual. United and various other clubs even went as far as to win a league title with FC20 in Netherlands. So when I hear, you know, people talk about the fact that the mandate is only to qualify us for the World Cup, okay, I get that. That's his job to qualify us for the World Cup, just as any other coach would have hired. But surely they should be doing a bit more in order to like leave the football in a better place. And at least with Hallgrimsson, yes, the mandate for him was to qualify us for the World Cup, even though he was there for a bit more. But he still mentioned the fact that he wants to leave Jamaican football in a better place than what he would have got it in. And with McLaren, even if we qualify for the World Cup, I don't think when he eventually leaves, the football will be in a better place.
Well, I think his mandate may be different from Hallgrimsson, right? Because what I was told about Hallgrimsson is that he was trying to create a pipeline of talent for the national team. So even when we go to the World Cup, think about the World Cup team with Pinnock and Blake and Lowe and Antonio and even the Nicholsons of the world who are getting up there in age, right? Nicholson's a little bit younger, still have a few years left. But there's some key Hayden, there's some key players in the team who will not play another World Cup after this one, right? I would probably say 99% they won't play another World Cup. Maybe Blake will, right? Then you need replacements for them in the team who are going to be quality players. And we're not setting up that pipeline. We're trying to rely on local talent as if we have one pool of talent and we don't have talent residing in different parts of the world that we can source and bring in. We're acting like the only Jamaicans are the ones who are on the island. And these are some people on the island feel like they're the only real Jamaicans, and nobody else are Jamaicans. Even people who born there migrate, they're not Jamaicans anymore. So they don't qualify.
The interesting is with the local contingency, let me tell you, listening to certain people, the more some of our teams win the regional tournaments, then it becomes even more difficult for the ones overseas, because when they win these tournaments in the region, you hear how good they are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they kind of use that as a measure to say that, okay, we're winning the tournaments in the region, like the under 14, for example. So, you know, they're exceptional or whatever. So it's almost like the man them way at the age of like 13 or whatever overseas, you know, they're not as good enough as the man them local. That's how it comes across when certain people from the JFF speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a very depressing state in terms of the football. Obviously, we should have been further in terms of like recruitment and the pool of players that we are looking at. And not only about looking, it's one thing to look, but you need to, like, as they say, engage these players as well. It's like, you know, like you see a pretty girl. Someone, cranky, we might think that them can't get the pretty girl, you know. But then you have someone where them even have money or nothing, but them can't get the pretty girl, you know.
Because them have lyrics.
So even though,
them have lyrics.
Yeah, even though it might be like, it might be perceived that, okay, they want to play for England. Okay, so what? Yes, they were born in England, they want to play for England. But at least try to sell them something that will change their mind. Because, you know, when you're a salesman or something like that, you can always change the perception of people, you know. So it can be done. Yes, it's difficult, but you have to at least try, and that is where you talk about.
Well, 433. Here's the thing: you have to construct your program in such a way where it's appealing to players who are used to a more, I mean, use the word, advanced environment, right? You've created an environment where, you know what, the people who are part of the environment are supportive, because a lot of players who are in that environment are saying, you hear Ravel says, you hear Bailey say it, you hear other players say it, you hear Antonio say it. It's not the best environment. How do you create an environment? Let's go back to the administration. That's why you see me, I was beating the administration. Create an environment. People want to be part of your environment, not running from it. They play because they're going to play and they want to leave as quickly as possible. Make them want to come and be part of it and be part of a movement. Don't let them come and say, you know what the hell, what kind of party shop this? You know, I hear that party shop, TST sells enough dollars, but what kind of environment is this where I don't, yeah.
The last point is, I think, in terms of how we've like sold the program to a lot of these players, is more so, let's just help us to qualify us for the World Cup. Let's qualify for the World Cup, you know? But it has to be something that's more substantial, where, okay, even after the World Cup, they want to be here, you know? It's a welcoming environment where even if you don't have everything in place, players can at least still make a sacrifice that they can feel happy about, because it's not going in vain, you know? And I guess the people responsible just have to step up, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
All right. That was 433 people. Yeah, me and 433 make up. We had war, but we make up. Because we're not a war thing. So let me just say something. I got some stats here from a source. People, I'm not political, so don't really beat me with this. I mean, don't get beaten, but I'll bring it out anyway. I got some stats here, which I find really interesting. So under the PNP administration, over a 18 and for 22 year period, so PNP 22 years, and JLP, what's this? 9 and 5, 14 years. So PNP 22, JLP 14 years. So just equate this. We have naturalized under PNP administration 101 players, under JLP 37, and we only have like about a 6-year difference. Those are very telling numbers. So we have naturalized over a 22-year period, 101 players under PNP, and only 37 under JLP over a, say, 12, 14-year period. That's not a good look, JLP. That means PNP is doing much better. Now, you guys may not think this is important, but it's an imperative. You hear the coach mention it, people. how long the process takes. You hear him mention it. When countries have what they deem to be exceptional talent, and they have what I would call a VIP process. It's like when you go to the airport and you buy your first class ticket and I buy my economy ticket, you have a different line you go in. You get preferential treatment. Right? It's not happening with Pica and the JLP. But I see the Prime Minister at the game yesterday with Messi. I see in election time him go to the game the other day. Now, I don't care about PMP and JLP. Me not green or red or orange, whatever number you want to call it. Me not care, me not there because I can't vote. Even though I'm a citizen, by the way. And in some countries, you can vote if you're remote. The point I'm trying to make is that the JLP needs to do better with PICA to expedite the naturalization process for players who qualify based on what the criteria utilized to play for the country. It's not okay for the process to take forever. An example, Demari Gray applied in 21, you can get his passport till 2 years later. How can that be okay, people? And sometimes we want to blame the players. Them. If my player may say, you know what? We don't want to become Jamaican. I'm not bother with it. So we are finding so many ways to disincentivize players from representing us who may have the capability to do so. Huh? So many ways. Those numbers are startling. Like I said, people, I haven't go on and try to verify the stats. I got the stats from a very reliable source. 101 players for PNP, 37 JLP. There's only a 6-7 year difference between the two, between 1989 and now. Those are not good numbers, people. Those are bad numbers. Bad numbers. And then we have some moron in the chat who always have an excuse for anything. You know what the moron does? I'm going to call him moron from now on. Mr. M. If you say A, he says B. If you say C, no matter how right, even if he agree with you, he has to disagree with you because he wants to be seen. He wants to be known. Go start your own program, my youth. Leave my little thing alone. Go start your own program, man. You're getting to be off the chart bad. Start your own show. You don't have to be here. Start your own show, man. And then you can disagree with everybody because you just want to disagree with them. You don't agree with nobody. Start your own show, man. Start your own show. You have gotten from bad to worse. You're beyond worse now. You're beyond just horrible. Start your own. Do your own show, man. Do it from your basement. Jesus. I've never met anybody like this. Wow, you're in a class by yourself, son. Class by yourself. But anyway, people, we're not going to stay much longer now because I decided to do the show. I was going to do a show later, but not on football, but I may have to revisit that. I have some stuff to do. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Wow. Your sister, no son right at all, man. You.
Yeah, but
something wrong. You got a call back. You have 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 a call back. Your system bad. You need to get a good phone, man. Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Who am I speaking to?
good afternoon, Cranky. Cranky Live.
Before the game, how you doing? How you doing?
I couldn't be better, my friend. you doing okay?
Am I okay? I'm okay. I'm okay. You know what? I'm just thinking about how some hypocrite dismiss YouTubers. You remember the hypocrite? And then him have a program say, oh, the regular media, them for go can him fight YouTubers. After him fight YouTubers, you know. It's a Jamaica thing that, you know.
no want to get rid of YouTubers.
YouTubers get too much trouble. You know the worst thing about this, Andre? When you compare throughout this whole period, YouTubers in those environments, and there may be a lot of us, right? But the questions asked by the traditional media and YouTubers, they actually no better question than YouTubers. They question no better. Right? It's not like there's a big disparity and a big difference between the quality of the question they ask and the quality that YouTubers ask. I don't see that.
I think but first, ever since I met you, it's the first time you have gone back. I'm echoing for some reason. Do you know why?
No, you're good. You sound good. You're good.
Yeah. You're not. I didn't know you for going back on your word.
Which word was that?
And you made a commitment the other that you're not going to address certain things in the chat. And you've gone back on.
I've been called out, people in the public domain, and I deservedly got called out. I agree with that. I no. I did say I'm not going to post the person. Then I said I wasn't going to address them. I'm not going to post their comments. I haven't posted their comments. Right? I haven't posted their comments. I'm not sure I said I would never engage him. I said I'm not going to post it, but I may have said that.
But what's your blood pressure? You know, what's your blood pressure to go off?
I'm a fit man. You know I go to the gym every morning now. You know that. People, I'm going to brag. I go to the gym every morning. I do an hour and 5 minutes on the elliptical machine. I have a Bowflex, which supposedly translates between, if you do between an hour and 5 minutes and 70 minutes, about 1,000 calories. I think it's inflated, by the way. That's what I do every morning. Now, I don't lift a lot of weights, but yes, so I am in good shape. I just had an EKG. I'm in good shape. So I'm not getting no blood pressure, no heart attack. No, I'm good. I'm good. Wait. I think you're dropping. Wait, hold up. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the conversations that you and the other YouTubers are having, from my perspective, it's healthy in a lot of ways. Just imagine if your roster for this window was dropped today, yesterday, tomorrow, and there wasn't even a press conference. That would be ugly, right?
Yeah.
And that is happening in some Caribbean islands that a roster was dropped and there's no press conference. Nobody asking any questions.
Are you saying? So I have a question for you. I have one question for you. So I see Jamaica's roster drop, and you know Jamaica's have an MOU with another island. Who's that? Trinidad. Did they drop their roster?
Yeah, I saw a roster yesterday.
Did they have a press conference?
I didn't see one. I couldn't find one.
Are YouTubers part of their media?
It's not as far as I know. There's nobody consistently doing what you guys do in this space, and that's why.
Well, you know Jamaicans are trendsetters, right? You know Jamaicans are trendsetters. You know we're trendsetters.
Yeah, in this regard here, you all have done a
no. Back up. I said Jamaicans are trendsetters. I want you to acknowledge that.
I had to call somebody else and just say this. That's a very privileged position you're trying to take up there. You're trying to tell you your
we run things. We run things. Especially English we carry. We run things. We run things. No. What you need to do is say, "No, hey, Cranky, we agree you run things. We are going to try to emulate you." In a lot of ways. Not everything. Emulate the good thing to you, that's not a good thing. Emulate the bad thing, them emulate the good thing.
I am happy to accept your opinion, but I wouldn't let you tell me my opinion. That's too much privilege you're asking there.
All right, fine. You said we don't run things, fine. Fine.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm taking your opinion, but no, but this is a healthy thing, and I don't think you should even consider walking away from it in terms of not covering the football, because everybody brings a different perspective. You know, when you listen to some of the other guys, they have a different perspective. You have a perspective, and I think you sometimes take on things that some don't, right? Everybody bring a different flavor to the conversation. I find the conversations to be good, and you all have influence change, right? I'm sure you'd agree with that.
We don't know how much, but we hope we have. We hope we have. We know we influence on change. Whether good or bad, whether good or bad, we know we've influenced something. Whether it's good or bad.
What if Martin Luther and Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman and all of these people, when they face adversity, they decided not to.
Andre, don't do those comparisons. Don't. We're talking about people who are making real life changes. How we are doing some sporting. We're not going to compare apples and oranges.
You know why you're doing this and why you get frustrated? Because you care.
Because what?
You care, and you care, and this is big. Let me tell you.
No, because I'm selfish. I want Jamaica to win.
No.
I'm selfish.
No, but let me tell you this, and I'm sure you would understand and appreciate this. The pride of the people of a country is directly tied to the national team. Right? The national team performance on the international stage, especially when they're successful, it makes people feel a sense of pride that sometimes isn't felt in other areas. So I think it's important, and that's why I wish that not just Jamaica, but more teams from the English-speaking Caribbean could get their football to a place. You know what it was like putting, I don't know what the number was. Some people are saying 30,000 people in that stadium last night. That's a beautiful thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that was, well, yes and no. It's a beautiful thing to see 30 people in the stadium. The rationale for being there has to be more consistent as relates to the national program.
Yes,
I am fine go watch Messi. I am fine go watch what's his name, Brown. I'm fine go some freedom. Well, I'm not fine about that, but let's skip that one. I'm fine about going to champs, right? I'm fine about some of these events. And when the national team play, I don't want to see no 5,000-6,000 there. I want to see what turn out for the Messi. It's your team. When England plays, we're seeing 60,000 at Wembley. When the US plays, when I go to St. Louis, I'm seeing whatever stadium hosts, 30,000 go to the US game. We can do better. And people are complaining about how long we drive to go stadium and we going to play well. Really? Messi played about 15 minutes yesterday, 20 minutes, whatever, many him play. And you pay money to go watch him play. Because a once in a lifetime event is the best player. But you got to do better nationally. You have to.
Yeah, and you're right about it. You can't take away if you've seen Messi before in other spaces, you don't get excited about him coming to the island. So it's a chance for most people who only saw him on television to go see him. So you can't take that away from them. But I think you are correct that people need to come out in those numbers to support the national team or to support, and that's a big improvement, right? Because I've seen Cavaliers play in Caribbean finals before, and there's probably a dozen people in the stadium,
Yeah, so, when they play Cibao, nobody turned up. I think Rudolph was there with two people from him, equipment manager and some official. That was it.
So hopefully,
and then Messi turned up and everybody turned up. Huh? So they're not supporting Cavalier at all. They're only supporting Messi. They're not supporting Cavalier.
Yeah, but I think this process is going to help turn that around because it keeps the football in the forefront.
That's where you and I disagree. People, this is like a meteor that comes through. It's a major event, and you just move on. It ain't doing nothing. Now, what will do something is if Jamaica keeps on winning, they get close to the World Cup because Jamaica's a bandwagonist. They might jump on the bandwagon. But here's another thing, people. Why should I come play for Jamaica when the national team is having sparse crowd watching the games? Why would I come play for the national team? What's the encouragement? I hear the administration doesn't work well. Nobody attend the game. Infrastructure doesn't work. Support system doesn't work. Why would I come play? What do you have to convince me to come play for you? Now, if you don't have the money, I got to do other things to encourage you. I can go to the game. I can help the administration do a better job to encourage you to think as an alternative to your home country where you were born. Right? That's the point. And people don't seem to understand and get. And the administration doesn't seem to get a lot of times. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that's the same for Trinidad too, by the way.
Yeah,
same for Trinidad.
It is the same. It is the same. And that needs to turn around, and it takes proper administration, it takes transparency, it takes good governance, all of those things, because people need to feel, I listened to a conversation this morning, Newcastle is going to build a new stadium.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah, and they're talking about a new stadium for 65,000 people.
How much was the projected cost? What's the projected cost?
They didn't give a projected cost that I can remember in the conversation, but a fan called in and said, look, if you're going to build a new stadium, you have to be serious about it. 65,000 is too little. You need to build a stadium for about 80,000 people.
More than that, actually.
Right? Yeah, and so that's the kind of, but they believe in the football. They look forward to the football because the people that run the football behaves in a certain way, right?
Yeah, but Andre, you don't have to build a stadium just for football. You can build a multi-purpose stadium with the view that you got to make sure the field itself is adequate to play on the surface, right? But build a multi-purpose stadium. So you want to make sure the stadium can support itself. It's a self-sustaining stadium, right? UK can build stadium just for football alone because you know what? They make enough money to support the stadium and to maintain the stadium. You got to build a multi-purpose stadium with the infrastructure in place where, you know what? You can take up the field and put down the field and it works and it's not astroturf. You can try to do something which is a little more evolutionary or revolutionary to support what you're trying to achieve.
Right, we can't do it in England because football is an industry there.
Yes,
that's an industry. Without football, I'm not so sure they would know what to do in that country.
They wouldn't.
But in the Caribbean, we have to come up with something that's going to work in our space. You're right; it has to be multi-purpose and build for the right number and that kind of stuff and maintain and look. Jamaica is an hour and a half from Miami.
Yeah.
Trinidad is about 3.5 hours away. and there's a million teams in America, and they both, you at a higher level, deal with tourism. There's a lot of
I have a question for you. Why does Canada have like MLS team, NBA team? Why Jamaica can't have one of them teams? Why some place in English speaker can't have one of those teams that be so close? I don't understand.
I would think not just Jamaica. I think the Caribbean should have one. MLS, USL. I think they should have one each. But maybe the people with the money in the Caribbean.
Or our Trump the one on SO country if it be part. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, you're giving trouble, Kaki.
But it's true. It's true, right? I mean, Canada is maybe they're the 51st state. If you go to Canada, people, you think you're watching American TV. Seriously. If you've been to Canada, you know this. And people in Canada don't take it personal. But when I go to Canada, it looks like you're watching American TV. Seriously, everything. ESPN with Sports Center, the whole works. They act like the 51st state. You know, they get upset when you mention it. But it's true. It's true. It's a big state. But I'm just saying, the Caribbean is also another state. A lot of Jamaicans come to America like Adam Yard. Our Trinidadian do the same thing. The English-speaking Caribbean have a lot of people here, probably half their population. So why wouldn't it be that there's a much more linkage, right? You connected economically, significantly. As I said before in the early part of the program, about 40% or 35% of Jamaica's GDP is US affiliated. So then why wouldn't you have much more linkage? Right?
The Jamaica might have to make a choice just now between the US and China. So it may become a colony.
Yeah. Somebody sent me something here, give me some education. Canada has MLS team in the MLS because in 1996, when MLS was formed, the Canadian Soccer Federation was approached by the MLS to be part of the league. Yeah, so we could be approached to be part of the league. We could approach them to be part of the league. Canada is not part of the US. Virgin Islands, yes. Puerto Rico, yes. But Canada isn't. So we could.
I'm sure that something could be done out of the Caribbean in that space. I saw the other day I think it was on social media, where Marlon Green, from the president of the Grenadian Football Federation, went to Houston, met with the Dynamo, and not too long after that, I think it's this week, they have about 6 coaches over there, learning from observing training sessions and talking with coaches and just trying to see what they could pick up to take back to Grenada. So, but he approached them as far as I understand.
No, you have met Marlon. I've met Marlon. You know Marlon really well. I don't know him that well, but I've met him. Marlon is a very, very smart man. Very smart man and very future thinking, and he has vision. And I'm sure he's going to get Grenada over the next 10 years if he is in the role. If he can get the support from the Grenada community, they'll be in a really good place. Because he's a deductive thinker, he's a strategic thinker. He's always trying to assess where they are and what they need to do. He's trying to put programs in place. He was part of FIFA. He was part of the corporate environment. And I think he will do well. I
think he has a mentality that he needs to get it done, and he goes out and you can see him moving around and trying to put things in place, and you're seeing the fruits of the labor. I mean, the whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the agreement was, but whatever they put together with Houston Dynamo, you can see he made the trip and you can see the outcome. And I think that would just be helpful, because sometimes we believe we have to go all the way to England. It's the only place that we can get ideas of how to make things happen, or go to Europe. And sometimes you can start right here in your backyard and get people who, because a lot of those people come in here too, right? So,
right.
But don't give up on the project, Cranky.
Okay.
You guys.
I am making no promises about going back to any press conference. Admit that, people. Let me admit that. I'm not making no more promises. And press, they don't need me. They don't need me in the press conferences. They don't need me.
Well, I ain't talking about the press conference. I'm talking about YouTube, because it's a place that you have two people.
No, I'm gonna be on YouTube. I just may not be covering certain subjects. I'm gonna be on YouTube. My Trump friends are coming at me hard. I love come at me hard. My Trump friends, people, I don't know. They're challenging my intellect, and I love that.
I'm gonna keep you straight. If you like people coming at you hard, you have a couple in the chat here that comes at you hard.
No. We talk about substantive subject. No, not about some idiot football thing. No idiot thing. The people. If I mention Trump, for example, somebody came to me the other day and said, Yeah, and you regurgitate everything from CNN, and I was like, yeah, and you watch Fox. Well, how are we different? I don't regurgitate from CNN. I better get from CNN versus Fox. Fox has been sued and paid $800 million out. I don't hear anybody suing CNN. I don't necessarily support any of those traditional media. I am new media, and I get my news source from various sources, including CNN, of course, that informs my view. I don't watch Fox except when Jessica Tarlow is on there and she's beating them up. I may watch reaction videos to it, but I have my own thoughts, and I get my news from various sources. There's a guy called Jansen who's always talking about China and the US. I think he lives in Vegas someplace. I watched him the other day talking with some person, a consultant in China. Fascinating conversation. China, where they are, talk a lot about all the Chinese companies, BYD, a bunch of them. By the way, I talked about it the other day. BYD have big showroom in Jamaica. I don't love consume, but no love produce. Love consume. Carry for $80,000 US, which exclude tax. I don't know, produce nothing. Why is Jamaica producing some of these things? Huh? Why is Trinidad producing some of these things?
That's
we're going to stir up this. We're going to stir up this space, people. We're going to stir up this space. We're going to ask these questions. We're going to stir up this space. It needs to be stirred up. We have to leave this place a better place for our kids. When we leave the earth, we got to leave it a better place for our kids and give them more chance to succeed. That should be our objective.
When you leave the earth, where are you going when you leave?
Oh, here we go. You want to go there?
I know. We're not going there.
You want to go there? You want to go there?
No,
you want to go there? Where them bury you, that's where you go. You're not going nowhere else. That was not going to heaven. And then part of nice sky. When gravity will pull you down. You know you go up and gravity will pull you down. Oh.
You have to think about that.
All right, sir. Thanks for the call.
All right, have a good evening, okay?
All right, cool. All right. That was before the game. Or Andre people. I did Andre my program. He's a academy, IDF. Their philosophy is possession is a lifestyle. I love that. Talk about football possession. Possession is a lifestyle. So DC says, Cranky, I need to know how tariffs are affecting the price of consumer tech. What are the trends? So it depends on, some of these tech things that you have are made by aluminum and all these other products. And these things are all intertwined, right? So at the end of the day, when you have tariffs, the question is, what are you placing tariffs on when you export? And what tariffs have been placed on the product that you import? It get hit from both sides. And what the governments are doing, they're being strategic. So for example, Canada, even though they went after electricity that for the Northeast, which made no sense, they're trying to focus on what is Trump's stronghold. New York isn't, Minnesota isn't. Neither is, I think Michigan is a swing state, so they're more Trump nowadays. But they're trying to focus on the areas are the locations where Trump has stronghold and squeeze those people, like China squeeze the farmers, right? Or money Trump supporters. But from a tech standpoint, in a lot of instances, whatever you use to make your computer, or whatever you use to make your chips, those things tariffs going to be on. And then what traditionally happens is you and I pay more for those products because the government collects a tax and put in their coffers. And the markets currently today, and here's the funny about the markets, people don't need to realize. So the stock market is down about 5% since its more recent high, right? It's down about 5%. Give me 1 second, call it down 5%. But international markets are up about 6%, and bond prices are up about 2%. So if you diversify your portfolio and invest in international, still keep your domestic, and then maybe have some more debt instrument in your portfolio versus equities, you may not be as bad off as you already are. Who am I speaking to?
This is Lansley Blake.
Lansley Blake, I can't talk to you long because I got to leave. But let me say this for you, Lansley, before you say anything. I've been told you're a great debater. I am not, by the way. Let me just caveat that. But I do want to have a conversation about the whole, you can phrase it how you want to, God, religion, Jesus. I need to have that conversation in a public domain. You and I. Because I was informed you're a scholar, well-learned, and can educate me. And as a novice who don't have much experience in this space, I'm just talk off the top of my head, and as some person in the chat said, I don't know nothing, I would love to have that dialogue. You open to it? We can set a time, date, right now, right here.
I am going to address the characterization that you said you have been told. I am not one that goes around labeling myself as a scholar. I am informed.
Hey, Pastor, you all right? You can see doctor, you breathe hard, you know?
I just got in, and
you walk up 2 steps and you breathe hard.
I literally am rushing to get ready because there's something I need to go pick up.
Okay.
So
yeah, breathe hard, man.
I'm trying to get ready.
Ready for call 311, you know, or 911, you know. You sound tired. You say you breathe hard.
I'm trying to get ready as fast as I can.
Okay.
So that when the person actually gets here to pick me up, they don't have to wait on me.
Okay.
So
people,
yes,
people. He wasn't running people. Let me just say this. And if you got a gym like me, if you got a gym faster.
Frankie, I heard you speaking about your burning of 1,000 plus calories every morning.
Yeah, I have my list here. So don't.
I am not. No.
I'm gonna say I have my list. I have my list here.
I'm not saying you have not been burning that.
Okay. Yes, I have been burning calories. Yes. I'm a calorie burner.
What I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm in North Carolina for 9 months. This is the 9th month.
Okay.
Or maybe about 8.
Where were you before? Florida?
I got here in the middle of June. So, and we're now in the middle of March, about the same time.
So what happened? The Santa's run away. But you go.
No. I was actually I came here from Texas, so it would be
Texas. Okay, so it's not the Santas. It's what name? Abbott run away.
I came here from Texas.
Okay.
Since I am here, the program that I am on, which is written by myself, and I'm doing it. Yeah, my experience over the years doing track and field and those sporting things. Yeah, I have lost 46 3/4 pounds. So
I'm impressed. 9 months, 46 pounds. I'm impressed.
46 3/4.
So you're losing.
It's important.
So you're losing about what? 5 point something pounds, 2 or 3 pounds a month. That's impressive.
Yes. And
maybe you should send it to me because I need to be on it. Maybe I'm eating too much because I'm not losing any weight.
I'm in a much better physical condition now. When I first got here. No.
Okay.
As I said, I just got out of the truck.
Okay.
And came up steer speed because I'm literally just changing clothes so that I am ready.
All right.
When he actually gets
too much information, but keep going.
Yeah. I'm letting you know. So you did hear correct that I was probably
breathing hard,
breathing faster than would be normal.
Okay.
Somebody who would be sitting down or not doing it.
All right.
Yeah. So that would be the explanation for that.
Okay.
Having said that, I listened to your program. And really, I'm not.
You sound low, Pastor. You sound low. Step up from the phone.
I am not a psychologist.
Okay.
But I did some psychology units, as is a requirement for a ministerial program. And I did some behavioral science units also. Psychology is a part of the behavioral science department too. Yeah. Our coach, and I'm going to borrow from KD Knight, our coach and the JFF administrators and administration and the people involved in football in Jamaica can easily be put into the category of professional liars. And I'm saying this to bring a little bit
of pass, I get low again. The pass, I get low. I mean, you know what?
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Keep going. They can hear me well, but I'm
saying it I'm saying it that way.
Okay. You have to talk louder.
To literally bring some resolve to the conversation you had with the person in the chat, the persons in the chat who thought for any reason that you were being picky and somehow too personal because of your assessment of the coach. Notice his answer to every single question does not give you any evidence of anything at all.
Yep.
No, I said this once before of Stephen McLaren. The man is experienced. I cannot question his credentials, so I have to question what else I can, which is, what is his purpose and what is the reason for doing what he continues to do and say. Stephen McLaren, in response to your question, when you gave him an example, did what politicians do. Give a insultive response. And you ask any psychologist and behavioral scientist, and they will tell you that his response was low-level disrespectful. He said, that is exactly what I do.
Yep. That's what he said.
Providing zero evidence to support such a statement. In Toko's video, and that you reference, he corrected the journalists.
Yes.
That you are being disingenuous because since I got the job, I have been on the job.
Yep.
And
great observation.
And I was only away because of family. No, he has been on the job and he tells you how effective he has been. So you can determine if he's effective or not based on the evidence he has provided. I have gone and watched over 25 games.
Yep.
So you determine if that is enough. And he's talking about the period from January because the reporter had asked him the question dealing with October coming up, October, November.
Right.
And he pointed out, no, I was effectively on the job January. And since January to the point of the interview, I have watched over 25 matches. Now, we're not debating whether that's not enough. Here's where I want to point out that McLaren is a professional liar.
Whoa, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I am going that far. And I'm going that far unapologetically because there are some other persons that I'm calling out with McLaren. The reality is this. McLaren resides in England. We know that the Pika situation is not what it is supposed to be on any professional level at all. When you want something, you go for it. If the Jamaican government and the football administration saw it important to get these players, they would have by now worked out a professional plan to make it happen.
I was almost about cranky, but Pastor, you may be thinking the JFF has the influence, the contacts, the relationships to be able to engage, to work out some kind of protocol about how they should work. I am not sure they do.
Cranky,
that's part of the problem.
You made the statement that you're not involved in JLP PNP politics.
Nope. Staying away from it.
Then don't ask that question. One entity is JLP, the other entity is predominantly PNP.
Okay.
They're not going to go together. And because the JFF is so unprofessional, they are not able to move past partisanship. And being the government, they don't see themselves as needing to come down that low. So it's a matter of tug and war, and who is superior. It's all foolishness. McLaren resides in England mostly. But this team that he has put out, according to him, is the best available team that we can have. How is that so? When you are in England, you're in England. So how is this the best available team? And I'm not talking about people who need to get passports. I'm talking about people who have passports. He went down the bloody road to talk about a number 9. Which position does Andre Gray play?
Which Andre Gray? The one that used to play for us?
Striker.
Oh,
the one that used to play for us. The so-called old man.
Yeah.
Which player that has a passport in the diaspora is not an improvement on McGee, Dixon, and all those who he have called? Which player? Which of these players are not an improvement on those players? The coach says they had a broad they had a very broad slate that they were using to acquire players. But this year being World Cup qualification and Gold Cup year, they need to be more targeted. When did the JFF had a broad recruitment program? When? Which year?
Interesting question, actually.
When? Please educate me. I am seriously looking at Jamaican football since 1990. I want Steve McLaren and Simon Preston to tell me when we had a broad recruiting strategy. When was it? I missed it. And the reason I'm calling out Simon, it was Simon and Devon Porter that started this statement that they're not discussing the players that they're trying to recruit.
Right.
Because of the delicate nature of the recruitment. That is utter rubbish. There is no player nowhere in the world that is not known to their respective federations where they are born. None. So talking about delicate nature, that is what you call in behavioral science, a smoke screen to cover over your misadvice that you're giving. You're literally telling lies publicly and covering it up and expect us to take it. Steve McLaren keep using general terms. We have a large number of players that we're looking at. Steve, tell me, 50? 45? 100?
He didn't say recruit, he says looking at. There's a difference.
No. He's not looking at no damn player.
But I'm saying you may be looking at them, you're not recruiting them, you're just looking at them.
Cranky. If he was looking on players, he could have told you by specific numbers how many matches he had gone and how many players he has looked at. There is no evidentiary support for nothing that this coach has been saying. He's a liar. And Simon is complicit. Simon, I want it to be publicly stated. Simon, who is a Jehovah's Witness, you are called to a higher standard than that. You cannot support this, because if you do, you are guilty.
But I'm a Simon supporter, so I'm not saying nothing bad about Simon. I'm a Simon supporter, people.
Cranky.
Yes.
Cranky.
Yes.
Cranky.
Yes.
One of the most painful things on YouTube for me is to see what Simon has gotten himself wrapped up into. When I subscribed to Reggae Boyz commentary, it was because I thought and I believed with all my being that Simon was about what is right and just and equitable, what is fair and what is in the best interest of Jamaica's football.
So why are you changing that view? What?
Hold on. I never said I changed the view.
Okay.
I have reason to question it.
Okay.
I have reason to question it. And that is because Simon is not on the outside looking in anymore. Simon is a part of what is wrong.
No. Let's rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. No, give me a chance to rephrase that. He is part of an organization which may not be optimum in terms of how they operate, but he may be there to help remediate or fix it, not necessarily make it worse.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. The 2 seed at the back of a hog is in the same sack. That makes both of them hog seed.
Yeah, but then you're saying he shouldn't have joined the JFF. Then that's what you're saying.
Hold on. I notice I said I am questioning. I have not stopped supporting. I have not retracted my initial position yet. But I am saying it publicly so that Simon looks in the mirror and see what else he can do to make whatever necessary steps are required.
Right.
The fact that he's a part of it, he has to hold some amount of responsibility. When you have Simon got very popular on this program where he was unearthing and presenting these young talents who were of Jamaican heritage and who could make. You know the last thing that Steve McLaren said of Simon that literally threw a spanner in the imagery of all of that about Simon? Steve McLaren said Simon presented to him 14 players that got their debuts. Now, in a condition where our team is, we're seemingly to John Public that the Jamaica Football Federation administration and supporters does not really want the diaspora players. Steve McLaren is yet to say that Simon has influenced or present to him anybody from the diaspora. In the interview that you played, I heard him mention to in response to CC, if there are any players, tell it to Simon. Again, just a general suggestion. Now, if I am to take Steve McLaren's CV for anything valuable, and Simon's credentials and Simon's morality and the esteem with which I hold this younger brother, all of that goes out the window, Cranky. All of that goes.
Yeah, but so let me. I'm not gonna be Simon's defender, but I'll just say this objectively. When you are part of an organization, especially one that's challenged, let me give you an example. There are 3 people in the organization, JFF, that I have time for. Simon Avery, because she's new, and Dennis Chung. We may call Dennis Young 3 cards, man, whatever. But I've had engagement. I've interviewed Simon. I've interviewed Avery. I've interviewed Dennis.
Go more number than that because I still have time for speed.
I don't. Rudolph and I.
Even though he's the most.
Well, I don't talk about Rudolph because Rudolph and I are in a different space. When we say we have time, we just in a different space, right? We're in a different space. We can't talk about Rudolph in a different space. But even for the president, I have time for the president too. Even though you criticize the president, but here's the point I'm trying to make.
He's not measuring up, but I still have.
I will always have time for the president. By the way, I always have time for the president. Even when we say, "Nah, do I right? There we go, job." We have time for the president. He's the most. You know, when you have your uncle and you have to criticize your uncle, but you still want to deal with your uncle, so president's deal. But anyway, let me just say this though. We can't just disregard everybody and just say them are terrible this. When you're part of an organization, you have to toe a very difficult line. You have to be on the fence and you have to manage it. It's hard. Simon is going to be conflicted because he's part of the organization. We can't expect him to come out and go criticize the JFF when he's part of the JFF. That don't make no sense. He's in there trying to change things, and these press conferences are 100 times better. Me and Simon argue every time about him. I give me 2 questions. Me and I 2 questions thing, Simon, and him pushback for me. I mean, I want to take the pushback, right? But he has to run a very organized program with a process that makes sense and be fair.
The press conferences are a welcome thing. Yes. We give him his flowers for those things. I'm dealing with.
So what are we from with Simon? Because look, Simon has to also think about. You have to be very careful, when you have a YouTube channel, you're in our part of the organization. That's a very delicate balance to run.
Hold on, Yeah. I am very critical of a particular issue.
Okay.
The issue is when the coach comes out and makes statements that are unfounded and full-blown lies. This is not the best available squad we could have had. Flat down.
Yeah, but Pastor. If he says that, right? So we gotta be careful with that, people. There's semantics here, which is what's the best available squad? In your mind, Pastor, you may say, you know what? These local players don't measure up a lot of them. In his mind,
no, but the coach said it.
Wait. No. In his mind, some coach think, I have my 15. I don't care about the other 9. That's the best available squad. The squad may be a misnomer. I have my 15. I can only make 4 or 5 changes. I don't care about the rest of the players. You can pick who you want to.
Let me show you how the coach. Let me show you how the coach does it. What's the reason for him not to answer the Ravel question?
I don't know. Good question.
The Ravel question. If he answered the Ravel question, you see the same thing when he said there was a big gulf between players, the 5 overseas players that he listed that were absent.
Yes.
If he had answered the Ravel question, all of that lie that he told would have been put to rest.
No, look, you're right about
yes.
There's
no credence that can be placed that these local players make up the best cohorts available. It is not possibly true. Brandon, Cover, and Splat are playing at higher levels than the JPS, the JPL. And I'm only going to go to those 2 young players. There are players, Cranky, who have passports that make a difference.
I don't think the JFF I don't think the JFF want to recruit those players. I must say that from where I sit, right? I don't have facts for this.
I'm telling you
I don't think they care. I don't think they care.
And so that is why I am so adamant that the coach is a professional liar.
Look, the JFF get 9 local players in Pastor. They're happy. That's what they want. And they tell me, some people JFF tell me, that's what the local audience want. That's what the stakeholders want. So even the coach is in a difficult situation.
One player can fill the national stadium. Because Jamaica
one player has filled the national. One player has filled the national stadium.
That's what I'm telling you.
Just not Jamaican.
Hello, let me tell you this. Cranky, I used to take up my hard-earned money, send to Jamaica, and sponsor some people to go to stadium, go watch match. Since media America here.
Right.
I am not doing that rubbish. Again, they need to select the squad on meritocracy. Other than that, I'm not supporting it. It is just like the damn Democrats in the United States now who are folding because they claim they claim that what Trump is doing is wrong, but they're voting to support it. How stupid can you be? If it is wrong, how the hell are you supporting it? It's either not wrong or you're a damn idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do a lot of Trump programs, so I'll be talking about a lot of these things.
If you claim it is wrong, how do you support it?
Maybe because you had no choice. Is that it?
God gave all humans.
Doesn't mean you support it. It means you're agnostic, right?
I said.
Or you're indifferent to it.
You're an unbeliever. I get it. You are correct. Heathens. But I cannot. No. Hold on, Cranky.
I'm using agnostic in a different sense that you're using it.
No, you're setting it. You cannot have me call Simon a heathen. Simon is a good Jehovah's Witness. Listen to me, no man.
Simon a Jehovah's Witness. Simon a Jehovah's Witness. Really?
Do not. You're not.
Whoa.
You're not getting away with it. You not getting away with it.
I didn't know Simon was Jehovah's Witness. I have to sit up. I have to sit up. I didn't know that. Seriously. I am me and Jehovah's Witness. I've had our history, so I can't talk about that.
You cannot, sir, set me up like that, because now you're going. You want me to roll Simon now into the world that they are all heathens. No, that cannot right.
Yeah.
I cannot.
So, Pastor, I have to go soon, Pastor. Any last words you have for me? Any last words?
The next thing, Cranky. The only thing necessary for evil to prosper is that good men and women sit down and say and do nothing about it. The press conferences there have been vast improvement. However, we haven't gotten enough truth to be satisfied, especially from our coach. Don't let that deter you from going. Because if you don't go, the question you would ask won't get asked. And here's what your program today did. It pointed out the difference between the culture that exists in our Jamaica football space to everywhere else in the world, where our coach finds it okay and normalize lying. And it is okay with the administration.
I'm not going to say the man lie.
Exactly.
That is the pastor's view, not Cranky's.
Cranky, it is not you said he lied. I am saying he lied.
Okay.
And what your program showed is that he lied. Every other coach in the world can tell you, okay, I walked 2 miles today. 2 miles. Oh, I walked miles. No. Tell us how many miles. Because once you put an S to it, we know it's 2 or more. So tell us how many, and then we who are educated enough, experienced enough, will determine whether or not you need to do 2 more miles. Because I'm not saying Toko watching over 25 games is enough. I'm just saying he gave you specifics. He told you what he's doing. So you can now check to see if this is enough. And that is the way it goes in every professional world. Every single employee gets assessed.
Yeah.
You have to produce something. We have publicized this thing that Jamaica is not a real place too much. So everybody literally take the whole Jamaican population, both diaspora and in the land, as some big head bud with worm in our head.
Yeah. Look, yeah. Anyway, Pastor, we have to close it. We close now. We appreciate the call.
Have a good day, sir.
By the way, you haven't set the date yet for next week. Let's do something. The week after next, we should have the debate. Actually, send me information. I can text you the information, my contacts. We can have people. Me and Pastor debate.
Which day are you thinking?
You tell me the day. You tell me the day. I'm ready all the time. Can't do it Tuesday. This was Tuesday.
Here's what happened.
Yes.
The job I do is unpredictable in terms of hours because we move based on what the dealers do.
So like a mafia. But anyway.
No. We're in the vehicle haulage business. So the dealers
in the vehicle haulage business. So when the job come. Can't control the time.
So that is why I'd have a challenge in saying, all right, because all right.
So which day, which day, you work weekend? You work weekend? We can't be by weekend, we're not minding no cranky. We make time.
I
need some self-serving, some soul-searching, some comfort in my heart.
I don't work. The only day I don't work is Sabbath.
Okay.
Which is Friday evening sunset to Saturday evening sunset. If you notice, I have not been.
So they get Jewish, but go ahead, keep going.
Christianity came out of Judaism.
Okay, fine.
You know that,
Yes,
right?
it does. It did. Okay.
Yeah.
So them say.
Yeah. That's what the lesson tells us. But
Okay.
So it is a little bit difficult because one night last week I got home at 11 p.m.
Hey, Pastor, let me say one thing before you go. You can't take the money with you now.
What money?
People, if your only time off, people, is the Sabbath, that means where's the time for you? Where's the time for you?
This will factor in the debate.
Yeah.
You see, the Bible says, which is the premise for my entire life.
Right.
6 days shalt thou labor. Since
people. And remember that quote. People, remember the quote. The people, write them down. Hey, Pastor, me I love this. Me I get beaten on the people, but me like get beaten. 6 days shall thou labor.
So as long as there's work to do on these 6 days,
yes,
I work.
Okay.
So it's not about
so the Bible have nothing about time for yourself. You just ponder and pontificate and think about the world and look at the sunset. You know, I'm not time there.
The job I'm doing does not allow for a day off like that. We get days off when things are slow.
Okay.
But
okay.
Where we don't actually go out.
Okay.
But in terms of the job is not a day off job, like because the dealer them buy car.
Yes. So if me want a new Lucid, we can get one from you.
A what?
A Lucid Gravity.
Lucid.
Not lucid in terms of thought and being clear your thought.
We're in the United States. We're in the United States.
But Lucid is a US company. You never heard about Lucid Gravity? Lucid, who have made the air, the gravity, they're a company that's underwritten by Saudi money. They have this guy who was a Tesla who was a bit, you don't know Lucid. But come, Pastor, man. Come here, 21st century, Pastor, man. Come 21st century.
No. Listen to me very carefully.
Lucid also means clear. So they are clear, but you can't see through it. Keep going except from the top down.
Listen to me very carefully.
Yes.
I'm going to treat you the same way you treated McLaren.
Uh-oh.
You're not going to use a word as general as lucid and then have me determine what you are.
No, I said
about.
Lucid Gravity, which is a SUV. To me,
you
from the
say
best
looking. The first time you said it,
I said Lucid.
If you wanted a new Lucid,
fine.
You could. Fine. That's what you said.
Yes, yeah. No, but Lucid is a brand. It's a brand.
It was after that you started explaining.
Yes, that's true. Yes. But it's a brand. It's a brand that I love.
So
well, I don't have driven the car, but I love the concept.
The same standard I hold my coach.
Okay. All right, Pastor. But Pastor, when you have time,
all right.
Let's have the conversation. People want to have the conversation. Bring your mother, bring your son, bring your daughter. Pastor, go educate me, and I'm gonna be my normal cantankerous self to push back on certain things.
Is based on what is forecast for next week. I will give you a call to see if we can set it up.
Okay.
Like that.
All right.
Because to be truthful, I cannot just set up. I don't get the orders for myself. I am given assignments. I am an employee to the company. So,
hey, Pastor, you before the game says, he says, I'm crying out for help, so you should make time for me.
and as a minister, this would be before the game is trying to set me up, because as a minister, this is what we do. This is what our calling really is.
We have someone asked what debate about. It's going to be about religion and God and things of that nature. We're going to figure out exactly what it's about.
Let me say something on that.
Yes.
Frankie,
yes.
I don't debate Bible.
So what do you want us to debate then?
We will present.
Oh, we're going to present. Okay, we're not debating, but present.
Views. I'm not. I don't debate the scriptures. I really.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The premise for any conversation we will have. I am a biblicist.
Okay.
So if the Bible says it I believe it, and that settles it.
Okay.
We can question any subject matter within the scripture.
Well, no. Wait. Back up. You're a biblicist, so you believe the Bible. You're going to make your point as to the Bible, the rationale for the Bible.
Will be the foundation,
right? And I don't believe in. I don't believe in the Bible. So, so then we can make our arguments as to.
So you're going to be coming from a perspective of reason and other rationales.
Right.
I'm just saying that anything that I'm presenting is going to be from the premise of scripture.
Okay. Fine. So we can think about it that way. Actually, I figure out how to position that so we can have the dialogue. You're going to present from that being a biblicist, the Bible, the rationale for the Bible, why it's here, why we should follow it.
And
how it
you can use whatever worldview or concept to question the scripture, because I will do the same thing to use the scripture to question whatever avenue you're presenting from.
Okay. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Pastor. We will do that. Thanks a lot for being here, as usual, educating me, and I'm listening as a student should.
I have been educated too. So
before the game, called me an atheist. He called me an atheist, and I corrected him. I'm not an atheist. I just have certain views which I need to get clarity on. That's all. All right, Pastor. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have a good
Peace out. Yeah, you too. All right, people. That was Pastor. I've stayed over my 2 hours. I came on, why I tell you, time fly now. You know something, people, miss this. Oh, come when I'm in the gym, the time not fly so much. Hey, people, I gym sometime enough. Come go to the gym like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I say halfway through the elliptical machine, about 30 minutes in, the body says, stop. I say, well, come up on my channel attack. I don't feel them way. I don't understand people. This is a much easier job. Some people in chat make it difficult than being on that machine where my legs are hurting. But anyway, someone is to speed time up. Some people have been mentioning a certain person in the chat. I don't see that name. What name are they under? Let me say some people. In life, we should have what we call shame. If you engage with someone, they say, don't associate with me, please go away. They ban you. You come back under some other pseudonym. That's not okay. You're always beating the host. You hate the host. You disrespect him. You don't like him. I don't go to places that I'm not wanted. Why are you coming here? We ask you nicely to leave. We ban you and you come under some pseudonym to come back in. Please stay away. You don't like the hosts. Go to other people's program. There are a bunch of YouTubers out there. You can be part of their program. We don't want you here. We don't want your negativity. We don't want your hate. We don't want to associate with you. And we won't. I got a text today from somebody who showed me you're saying I should go come in Abana, Jamaica. I don't want to be around you. Please leave. Wherever you are, I'm going to try to ban you, but you can come back under a different name. Have some shame. Your mother not teaching on shame. Go get some shame, man. Let me cut down my program, man. Like a troll. Yeah, troll people. Go away. Please go away. You're not wanted here. Go where you're wanted. Go to other people's program. They appreciate you. I don't. Nobody in the chat like you. Nobody like you here. Nobody like you. Go away. Walton said there must be a God. That word "must" is an interesting word. Now, do I believe there's a God? Yes, because I struggle with the concept of everything logically that I know. But I'm not going to use the word "must be a God." Now, one could, you know what? I'm not getting into the discussion now. I mean, want to save myself a pastor. I'm a pastor going to, as pastor saying, debate the Bible because a biblicist, but we're going to have the conversation because you got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yeah, no, he's just a very rude, uncouth, ghetto person. And ghetto doesn't mean poor. He's just somebody you shouldn't associate with it. He's one of them despicable person. And I hate calling people names. He's despicable. Telling people about their mother, curse them out. He's like a 5-year-old in a grown man's body. He's a 5-year-old. 5-year-olds should go with other kids. Go to the kids program, go to Disney, and go deal with those people. And if they don't want you because you're disrespectful. I should get an Iman as well. I thought I had one before the game. Look in the mirror. Hey, before the game, look at that mirror. Look at that mirror before the game. Hey, before the game, looking at the mirror. And then come talk to me. Come talk to me. I'm going to love to have the debate with Pastor. Part of it is educational for me, right? Part of it is educational for me. Because I grew up in the church until I was about 13. And I've said this before. I grew up with my great grandmother. Maybe that's why I'm so miserable. And I want to ask the pastor a question. I was in church. I was very inquisitive. I couldn't ask the question, so I stopped going to church. Right? So I go 13. To my grandmother, my great grandmother said, "I can't have the church thing. Can't have the church thing. Me can't ask the man question because those questions used to bother me. Can't ask the question." Drew Ross, what am I referring to? The person know himself. Person you guys are fighting the chat with, coming under pseudonames. Go away, man. Go away. You're annoying. You're like a bug. And we squash bug. We step on them and squash them. Go away. Leave the program alone. Put me in this bad realm. But let me say this, people. Let me say this. First of all, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hit the like button before you leave. It's been a good discussion back and forth. It's interesting listening to the coach. I've said this numerous times, and I said this to the JFF. Some of them don't like to hear from me. I look at certain clubs across the globe and how they are run. Brighton Football Club in England is one of the best run organizations in the world, not just in football. There's very few organizations when they lose a major player, management, coach, manager, whatever, it's almost as if nothing stopped. The fact they get better. They get better people. It's almost as if they have this contingency plan where they have lined up, okay, we're going to prioritize. We have coach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. which ones can we get? If De Zerbi step out, if Potter step out, somebody better step in. De Zerbi lasted 1 year. And about Marseille, where Greenwood is, not a coach step in. Younger, more enthusiastic, just as good. And they have all these players lined up that they bought. And they do their groundwork and research and recruiting. Maybe JFF should go talk to them about they do their recruiting because they bring in all these young players for 3 million, Matoma, 4 million, Caicedo, a couple of million. All of a sudden, they sell them for 100. Look at their balance sheet. Look at their income statement. Well-run organization. Thought, perspective, views, understanding, no numbers, no players, know to get things done, no structure. They're better run than a Man U, for example, who have much more money and much more prominence and much more notoriety than they do. Because you know what? The person who run them also have some betting power when him run and got to do well in that space to survive, right? That's what the JFF should be emulating. Spain probably strategic plan or Brighton run the organization. Pull from the best things that they do, incorporate that into your repertoire and execute against it. We all don't know everything. Yeah, it's a business, but any business, what JFF does is a business. They have P&L, they have financials, they have balance sheet. It's all a business. Everything's a business. Non-for-profit is a business. Right? It's a business. So you got to run it like a business. Yes, Tony Bloom is excellent. Excellent. Look at his numbers. I think he spent like 200 million and he still come up with a profit this year. Because he's thoughtful about how he's spending his money, what he's going to spend big on, what he's not going to spend big on. Brilliant managing a club that keeps getting, that's a plan that's built not to get someplace overnight. Self-sustaining organization, build up over time. You can see where they're going, where they're going to end up. Now, will that model serve them right? Because at some point, you got to make some tough decision, right? You start spending more than what you need to get to a certain level, but it's been working so far. And at the end of the day, the JFF needs to be run in a way like a business and have to make tough decisions. Don't run it like Dodge people, because Dodge don't know what am I do. When you hear people come out, I'll close up by saying this, and say, we have found all this fraud and waste, but nobody's in jail for the fraud. This is the US, people go to jail. What fraud have you found? It's a good soundbite. It sounds really good. It makes your supporters feel well, but you don't have any facts to back up what you're saying and what you're doing. You fire a bunch of people. So if the employment addition was 150, you go fire 200. Then what's going to happen next quarter? You report employment numbers. What are they going to look like, right? And people are going to lose confidence in the economy. But anyway, we're going to have some Wisdom Master have discussion about finances and about retirement and all that, about kids and 529 plan. We need to have some of those conversations because they're important. Maybe in the next couple of weeks we do. As I said before, I'm promoting this next Tuesday. I'm supposed to be talking to somebody who's known in the New York area about if he's available, because he's always busy. Pastor's saying busy, this person is busier than pastor. About diaspora and should they be involved in more local affairs, which I think is important. Let me say this to the Caribbean, actually. You can't keep excluding people who have left of their own volition, or you have allowed them to leave your country. They gone out and get certain knowledge, and then you're not leveraging that knowledge. It doesn't make any sense. The most important asset is intellectual capital. And you send them, you farm them out across the world. They're going to learn all these things, and you're not bringing them back to help you. You're not making any sense. Because you want to sometimes be protective, or we're very rational, or you don't want them come back and say, them know everything and you don't know anything. That's nonsense. You have to leverage your resources wherever the resources reside. You have to. You have to. And it's important that you understand that the world is changing. And I was reading something the other day, watching this YouTube channel, about this guy named Jansen. Look at my people. There's a lot of China, US things. He had someone who was a consultant for a lot of companies in China. And the thing they talked about quite a bit, mentioned was about STEM. How much STEM people China have. STEM intellect. STEM. When you don't Caribbean country that talk about no STEM. And STEM is the most important thing you can have in this environment. We need to have the STEM people. Focus on it. Because that's where the world is going. We move from an agrarian society to industrial with a technology, and we'll stay here for a while before we find something else. And technology getting more complex and complex. So anyway, people, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. I know we didn't talk a lot about the squad because that wasn't the objective of the conversation. We didn't talk a lot about the squad. The squad is the squad. CMO repeat players plus some local players. The squad is the squad. Right? I'm concerned about the midfield. Forward line is the same recurring players. Defense very similar, except for Low. I don't know who are the right back. I think Lemba the right back, but Lemba is out of form. There has to be a way where we're convincing. Look, if Mason Green would come, people, and I know a lot of people don't like to talk about Mason, and we probably should stop. You know what we should do? Stop talking about Mason. All the YouTubers, them, the cranky send this out. Stop talking about Mason. Regular media, stop talking about Mason until Mason come. We don't want nothing to upset anything in that whole spirit there. Just leave it alone. Let's leave it alone. We don't have the privilege of England where we have a lot of option. We stop talking about Mason. I'm going to try to hold myself to it. If I talk about Mason, a lot of people don't beat me. Leave Mason alone. When Mason decides to come, him come. But we also need other people to come along with Mason. Can't do it by himself. What's the truth said? Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I was happy with how Cavalier played. How they played the first game. I was so disappointed how they played the second game. I just didn't understand. And also, when they beat me for this one, I'm here. I thought Rudolph didn't manage the game well. I thought him taking off Milan was heresy. Milan was their best player who won the ball. I thought him bringing on Avery so late was heresy. Avery roasted, what's his name? The guy with the Jamaica nationality, right back. The couple of ball he get him run past like he wasn't there. I know Avery doesn't do well in the final third, but he can create mayhem. I thought Busy Atkinson didn't have a good game. Should have been pulled a long time ago. I thought the midfield didn't present themselves enough. And my player King, I thought he did okay. He did well. He was the only person that showing composure. Lang plays defensively. Cavaliers does well. We can't beat nobody defensively. But trying to move the ball up the field, no work well. And it shows that we lack the technical ability to break down players and to move the ball up the field in a progressive manner versus just trying to go long. And the composure we lacked in the first game, we still lack in the second game. A little bit better, still lack in the second game. So even though everybody's happy about losing, because they lost 4-0, there's some good things to take out, but there's also a lot to say, you know what, needs to be better. Because he want to win, Chris. What do you mean? I feel money at stake, Chris. What are you talking, Chris? What are you talking about? Hey, speed, clean up the spirit around them. I don't want watching money. That's why I'm not talking about money and thing, people. But he cleaned up. Of course, he had Haitian on the field. He had, Surinamese? Is that Surinamese? He had Trinidadian. He had a diverse team. None of them are Jamaican nationals, by the way. Not like the overseas diaspora players were Jamaican nationals. Just saying. Just saying. What you say? Meek said, "Cranky, you keep saying we." What does that mean? What do you mean you keep saying we? Yeah, Inter Miami wasn't that good. We just can't keep the ball. Yeah, St. Lucian, yeah, he might have enough fun. He's not on quarter on him team. He would have not on quarter. Would have on a quarter on your team. Would have come back at KC. By the way, people, before I go, I watched the Kenyan. Hey, let me tell you something. When you work out and it feel pain, just put on some track and field. I watched the Kenyan. What the Kenyan name again? Him run the 15 and the 800. I watch him run the 8. Can remember the 15 before that, the corporate championship. Watch him run the 8. And I youth from Wolmer's pull up on him. And I said, my youth today, huh? Really? But commentators about me tired. Me tired. No, sir, me a Kenyan. We got for never level. Man, just put on another gear and leave the whole Marian behind him. I was so pleased. So we need to win champs this year. It's the most important year for win champs. And I hope we do it. I think Calabar gonna be tough. I think JC gonna be tough. The other schools like George's are coming better, so they may take away points. But I like how I have a well-rounded team. And so it should be a very good competitive champs. I'm sorry, I can't go to champs this year. I was planning to go, but I have some things right which preclude me from going. A couple of my friends are going. They go every year. So, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Mr. Speed said it respond them 1 quarter. It rested them 1 quarter. He wants quota too. Let's not blame everybody else. He wants quota. I've had communication with him. Him tell me say I'm me the problem. Cause the people them around him want it too. So him now say, boy, me no want it, and I didn't want it. He must say, I'm me the problem. Cranky, you're the problem. You don't know what you're talking about. My stakeholders want it, and he not say him want it, but him want it. So look, for them football, as they keep telling us, it's a quasi, it's not a public corporation, so we can't do nothing about it, but them still want fans to come support the game. They want people to talk about the game, and yet they don't want to give fans no involvement in the football. And frankly, people, this is a national team now. This is not a club team now. It's not a Cavaliers team now. We have Speed own Cavaliers now. A different thing this. So they should be giving much more. It should be much more open to the fans, I think, in a lot of respects. Using your NPS. I'm not sure who you're talking to, Rob Smith. Cranky can't. I mean, you can't hear me. You guys can't hear me? What do you mean? I'm hearing myself loud and clear. No, can't hear me, people. Can't you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. I can hear myself loud. Yeah, man, me loud. Someone say can't hear me. Who said them can't hear me? But no, look. Let me just say this. Rudolph has done a brilliant job with Cavaliers. He's taken them from second division, win Caribbean Championship, didn't embarrass himself against Inter Miami. He got paid. But let me say this, Rudolph. The football you guys play has to be better. You can't make 3 passes. If you play kind of league football, you must can't make 3 passes. I don't care who you play against. Some old man who can't run, you must can't make 3 passes. So, yes, Jamaica is proud of you. Yes, you didn't embarrass yourself. But the standard can't be I didn't embarrass myself. The standard has to get better. I would love for Jamaica to have any amount of local players they want to have in the team. I don't care. I just want them to be based on meritocracy and play the best players. And Jamaica, for some of the morons who think only local people in Jamaica are Jamaicans, no, a lot of us are Jamaicans. I have my citizenship papers. I'm Jamaican. And you can't stop it. I don't care what you want to say. I don't care how you want to vex. You know, born a Jamaica, cranky blood. Me no care. Me a Jamaican. It'd be very funny if all people migrate from Jamaica to the US. Were you a citizen? You know, people that lose their mind if Trump said, come and say, no, they're not a citizen. You know, people would lose their mind if people say that. I can't say that, people. That's kind of dumb. If you say that, you're kind of dumb. It makes no sense. I hate to use such word. Kind of dumb. Yeah, look, Chris, it's very lucrative, actually. It can be lucrative. To Cavalier from 4th division. Yeah. Now he's done one. Look. I hear somebody say something the other day, which I thought was asinine. They were saying almost like Speed is an accountant, so therefore he don't know what he's doing, blah, whatever. That's the reason why he knows what he's doing. You have it wrong. One thing accountants start up with is the money. Like, how can I make this profitable? Right? If you're an accountant, you're taught to think in a structured way and think balance sheet and income statement. How can I make something profitable? What product do I have? How do I monetize that product and make it work? And I can balance the books. And Speed is a smart man. That's why he does so well. He has a brain. That's why he doesn't struggle to pass all those tests to get his licenses, like some other people do. Okay? When you have a brain, when you're educated, you can do a lot of things that may seem to be in a certain discipline that's complex, but it's not that complex. I work in a company where they always say, you know what? Go run that department because you're a smart person. You don't know nothing about the business. So you're in investment banking, go run the asset management division. You're in trading, go run the investment banking division. Because their philosophy is, if you're smart enough, you'll get it, you'll adapt, and you'll know what to do. That's why Speed is so smart and gets what he gets done, because he's an accountant by trade. He knows how to go make some money, how to run an organization, make some money. And over the years, he's gotten experience in different parts of the organization, only helps him in evolution. Yeah, well, I mean, if you grew up just playing football, you didn't go to school, it may be a struggle. There were agents who couldn't pass the agent's exam, right? And they probably had their wife take it or whoever take it and be part of the agency. When FIFA came up with a new agency exam, some agents couldn't pass the exam. Doesn't mean they're dumb. It just means they may not have the ability to acquire the knowledge needed to be successful in the exam. No, Speed has done well. Speed has done well. I didn't really listen to Emil Meek. I know he said that Cavaliers on transition. I think he was being nice. I didn't listen to the whole thing, just read a few things. I think he was being nice. Look, Cavalier gave them problem in the first game, but if you can't, in football, if you can't control your belly, which is the middle of the field, it may be a struggle, right? They couldn't control the middle of the park, or they can't control the ball, they can't move the ball at the field, they can't possess the ball, they can't hold possession. That's a problem. Yeah, the national team has quota. People say it has no quota. It has quota. Now, the women's team doesn't, people. The women's national team, no quota. As far as I know, the women's national team, no quota. And that's what I know. Men's national team, it have a soft quota. But, and look, let me just say this. Maybe the view on this squad that they have with 9 local players is this or that. We have to manage our finances, right? So we can't go send for a player who's going to be in the fringe to be part of the print team. The BBC reporter, I guess he is, asked about playing 2 games in England. My hope is that when they play games in England, they go recruit some youngsters to be part of those teams that they go play in England with. You've seen the local players here. We know who they are. You don't need to see them again. Right? We don't need to see them again. Go get some players in England. Get some players in England, frankly, who can then show their wares, and you may have to bring them to the squad. They don't. The quotas are, what's the quota ranking? The quotas are, yeah, no. The senior team have quota, man. It's soft quota. The junior teams have a 7-person quota. You can only have 7 junior players from the diaspora. No, you can only have 7 citizens from the diaspora in the national team. The other citizens will be discriminated against, and they won't be part of that team. Now, Speed and his people may allow you to have some more, but you have to go beg them for it, and they may refuse you. They don't have it written down any place because they can't write it down any place because it's illegal. Not in the Constitution. They can't write it down any place and make it stick because it's illegal. So they can do illegal things and get away with it. Yes, I would agree that Cavalier players need to go in the gym. They're, I think people like Stein, he needs to get stronger. He has the most foreigners. Speed, I think, about win. Speed, I think, about win. And if you want to win, you have to have the best players no matter where they come from. Yeah, but they didn't play well over both legs. The strategy was different. The strategy was the same. And here's another thing too. Speed didn't adapt in the second leg. He didn't adapt as well as he should. Miami adapted. They kept more people back. He didn't adapt. I thought they could have done better. I don't know why he took off Miranda. I'm still struggling with that one. And that penalty was just not smart. But they have to score. They have to score 3 goals to win. It's going to be tough going. Give me tough going. Macharana saw play potential. What is what Macharana say? Will Macharana bringing those players to Inter Miami? Whoever is actually saying that thing. Did Macharana say going to bring those players to Inter Miami? You see potential. Not bring any of them come in play for Inter Miami. I'm going to go and listen to the narrative. No sense. But I feel lots of people, you know. When people blow smoke up, you know what? Don't listen to that nonsense. When people that blow smoke up, you know what? Don't listen to that nonsense. If somebody tell me that they see potential in your team and you have these very good players, well, you have an MLS team. Why don't you bring a couple of those players in for a trial? Let's see if they bring them in for a trial. Let's see how much players Inter Miami bring in. They're going to bring in Cafu and Roberto Carlos. Let's see who they bring in. Since they see all these players with potential, as they said, that are good enough, because people like Frey play right back slow. Can't play football, but him slow. Let's see the players he's going to bring in. Since we're going to take Macharano's and others' perspective about XYZ, let's see who they bring into the team. We're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. BM says speed is he wants foreigners to improve his team, but supports qualifying. Yeah. You know how all of us, we all want things for ourselves, but not necessarily support for others. I cannot believe people believe what Macharano was saying. Like, really, people? Is that the coach said, Coach, name me one player. Dre asked the question, name me a player you see that impressed you. And him start talking generalities. Let him talk about winning the team. We know injury in the team. We know Macalay. We know the team. Name me one person who impressed you over the league them playing against Trinidad or in the Cavalier game there. You can't name one. But you talk about people who are in the national team or we know them in that team. They're impressed you because they're in there or because Merangante they should be in there. People, we just act like we're not on sense sometimes, you know. And then we have people in the chat who like to criticize me about thinking I know everything. I never say I know everything about everything, you know. I know enough to be dangerous. That's why I classify myself. I know enough to be dangerous. How much players Steve McLaren carried to England from Jamaica? I don't know. That's a very good question. We'll see what happens because JFF can't afford it, you know. So they're not bring French players. Yeah, I would love from. It's not people. That's why me love being in press conference because you tell me say players impress me. I say tell me the player them who impress you, and will you take them to Inter Miami for a trial? Can you say them impress your coach? Huh? You say them impress you? Yeah, I would love to see that squad too, actually. I know, right? People, I'm glad you guys are thinking this way. The proof is in the pudding. If these players are so good, then show us where they're going to get contracts. Show us we want to go overseas. Show us. And people take this the wrong way that we're beating the players. No, we're beating the coaching in Jamaica because it needs to be better because some of these players have natural ability in terms of the physicality and some skill set. It needs to be harnessed. It needs to be coached. It needs to evolve. It needs to be nurtured and challenged. And that's not happening. Bless up Talawa TV. You came at the end, Talawa. Thanks for being here, Crystal. It needs to be. And that's not happening. Right? That's not happening. That needs to change. We can't have our youngsters not being afforded the ability to compete on the world stage because of poor coaching. Oh Lord. And we have some delusional people in the chat, people. Delusional. That's why we struggle, you know. The same delusional people we have in the chat, that's why we struggle. They're the same one people in position of authority. That's why we struggle. Delusional. Do we have any like psychiatrists for the national team? Them people I need it, man. There's someone in the chat here who knows this. I know I've met him actually. He lives in Florida for the national team. I'm gonna text him and tell him he needs to see somebody having the chat. He's part of JFF. He needs to help him. Man, delusional, bad, delusional, bad, delusional. But he doesn't know he's delusional. But delusional people a lot of times don't know they're delusional. They don't. It's awful. Awful, awful, awful. Yeah, good question. And I think some reporter asked a question about Skill Cole the other day, didn't he? After Skill Cole hasn't played ball for over what, about 40 years. At least professional football. Skill hasn't played in a long, long time. Oh, so it's El Meek is the person. Okay. He needs to be banned. So I just saw it. I got to ban him as soon as I'm done with this program. I got to go on YouTube and figure out to ban people. Okay. So El Meek, why are you here, El Meek? Whatever you call your name. Why, El Meek, why are you here? You think it's pure foolish? You know, it's sort of sad when someone sits here for 3 hours with me and say I'm talking nonsense, but they're here for 3 hours. You sound like a Trump supporter. You must be a Trump supporter. Cranky, I wonder if these people deal with facts. 9% players end up back in China. Yeah, Chris, I know. Look, this is not about beating young players. I want them to do well, but I want them to be better. I want them to I want them to be better. This RN whore person, if you can't hear, turn off YouTube. And if you can't hear saying no song for so long, stop. Okay. Anyway, let me sign off, people. Before I lose my thoughts here. You don't need him, you know. Hey, football guru. Here's what you should do. Come put your resume up on the table and put mine on the table. Then we can talk. Put your resume on the table, I put mine on the table, we can talk. Okay? Don't come talk to me. You're hiding. You're a little wimp. You hide behind a typewriter. You hide behind a computer. Real men, or whatever you are, don't hide. I'm in a public domain 24/7. I get my accolades, I get my beating, and I can take it. You're not a real man. You're a wimp. Good night, people. Thanks for being here. I like dealing with wimps. Can't engage with wimps. As I said before, people, I am thinking about taking, I'm going to say thinking, because people tell me not to, but a hiatus from the JFF press conferences. As I've said before, this may be me being sensitive. I don't take disrespect really well. If you sort of ignore my question or brush me off, I'm not engaging with you. You may think you're important. You are who you are. I am who I am. I don't take this from nobody. I don't care where you come from, who you are. We don't take this. Now, you may say, Cranky, that was not a diss. That was evasive. You can call it what you want. But I'm not needing those press conferences. I'm not needed. Seriously, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not needed. The people are there asking decent questions. They can ask those questions. I don't need to be in that environment because I get frustrated with some things, right? The objective of YouTubers is to bring information to people, get information, disseminate information, right? That's the objective. This is not about beating your chest. This is not about how smart you are. This is not about just being critical. We will give accolades when they're deserved, and we will suggest developmental points, or you can call it criticize, to be a little more harsh, when things are not going well. That's the whole goal. Now, when I do my other stuff apart from sports, the engagement is a little bit different. In fact, what I realize is that the Jamaican diaspora and local are much more receptive, unless I'm talking about politics in Jamaica, then some people just cuss me. When it comes to me talking about like Trump and tariffs and global trade, it's a different engagement versus when I talk about like touch JLP, PNP. In fact, I wasn't even doing that. I was talking about the Prime Minister. People get vicious, people, man, I tell you. The emails that I get sometimes just like, wow, this is what people in the general public eyes have to deal with. But it's not, say, a deterrent. It's just they got to recalibrate how you want to do it. The football is a little bit different because there are people like this. I'm going to call his name, this presser person who likes to come here. And like football, he's like football guru too. All they come here to do, there's never anything. If I say anything positive, that's always discounted. He doesn't mean it. All they come here to do is criticize. Now, I will say this, which is, yes, we may criticize a lot in this space. It comes to the territory. If you do good, you get your accolades. But I don't need football guru. I don't need presser. I don't want to engage them. I don't want to see them. I don't give a damn if they come on my channel or not. In fact, I would prefer if they don't, actually. I have no problem having criticism. But if your sole objective is just be a bug in this space for no reason, if somebody says A, you're going to say B all the time. You can't say, you know what? It's A, but it's maybe A minus A plus. If that's your goal, then you're in the wrong space. Go someplace else. Was I too straightforward? It could be. Be nice. It could be. My frustration is we've been having this conversation about the coach for a while. You could go reference it. The person in England were they straightforward with the question they asked? I thought it was pretty straightforward. You've been hired, your working arrangement. So that's maybe euphemism. Your working arrangement is XYZ, and Tuchel corrected them. Yes. In my first 2 months, I was going back to Germany to look for my family. But since I came here in January, I've been doing 25 games. I've been at St. James's Park, which the England team is. Clear, specific detail to refute the suggestion that he's not being doing the job. Telling me you're doing what Tuchel do, but you're not Thomas Tuchel, is nonsense. So that means you brush me off. You brush me off, right? What you're doing is brushing me off. And I don't like to be brushed off because I'm not some kind of an ant or something to be disregard when I ask you a question. If I spend time to approach your press conference, that means I respect you, so I'm here. Don't brush me off. Now, I was told by somebody in the JFF that the coach asked my question appropriately. That's their perspective. I disagree with them. That was their view. I disagree with them. We will never connect on that. There's somebody in the chat saying never criticize anything positive I've said, but I never said anything positive for you. So you, whatever. I don't want to engage with you. I don't know why you still come here, because all you come is critical. Why do you still come here? The person that took in the chat, why do you still come here if you think I talk nonsense and I'm critical? I don't understand people. Isn't that like self-defeating? Why are you here? I still don't understand that concept. You think I don't know what I'm talking about. You and Paul Edwards, you don't know what you're talking about. He's this, he's that. I hear that every single program I do, no matter what I do it on. Even if I do it on some social event. So why do you keep coming back? I still am confused. I still don't understand that, people. You don't like somebody, you don't like their narrative, but you come to almost every show. So unless you're a plant, like, one of them undercover people, they come and manage all these YouTube channels. I saw you on a channel this morning now, criticizing JD. So JD and me think we know everything. That's how you go on every channel. I don't go on other channel to keep talking about you, because you're not that important to be talked about. And I'm not that important to be talked about. So I don't keep why you keep doing it. You leave me alone. I leave you alone. We're in a good place. All right? A good place. All right, Melanie, thanks. I don't understand it. You don't like Cranky. He's despicable. You use also the name and he said, don't call me names. I can go back and show you the thing that we copied. I have people copy stuff and send to me, people. When I go on a channel and talk with me, people copy and send it to me. Sometimes we just ignore some of them. Right? And that's fine. If you're in the public domain, which you choose to be, then you got to get beaten. That's what life is. But if you come to my program every day almost, every time almost, you subscribe and all you can do is criticize and say, you're terrible, you're horrible, you're this. Why do you keep coming? I don't understand. And this presser person who say I'm not Jamaican, why you just do a non-Jamaican? You're not Jamaican. It's like this other idiot who talk about I should leave Jamaica football alone, who I ban also. Don't come to my program then. Right? Don't come to my program. I don't support people I don't support. I don't watch anything Argentinian. I don't support anything Argentinian. I can tell the Argentinian people that. They try to exterminate black people. I don't support Argentinian. I don't. I stay away. I don't go over criticize them 24/7. I don't support them. You try to exterminate people. We can't engage. That's who I am. If you don't support black people, you don't support me, I'm not supporting you. So those in the chat who don't like Cranky, don't support Cranky, don't come on my program. I have no problem with that. If you can come to have a good dialogue, Cranky, and I'll agree with you on this, XYZ, that's fair. But if your sole objective is come every week to be a disturber, to come here and be a disruptor, go someplace else. All right, people. So anyway, me talk long enough. I've been here for 3 hours and 19 minutes. That means I can't run any shorts because I passed my 2 hour limit, which I didn't plan to do. But anyway, people, first of all, thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here. We'll talk more about this squad, this football squad. Yeah, Jason Goodnight, it's a marathon show. It doesn't even feel that long enough, Jason, to be honest. We'll talk about this squad, this squad at some point. I don't think we can pick the 11 people now with eyes closed. Last call for the evening. I should not have taken this call now. Hello?
Cranky.
Yes.
Cranky.
Yes.
Are you regular loudmouth long time?
But you only have 5 minutes in the car. Me dead. You have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes.
Really? I want to go on. I want to miss today.
The squad was announced for the Reggae Boyz. The squad for the upcoming Gold Cup games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about.
I'm gonna get all twisted, them panties in a bunch over that.
Yeah. Well, them panties in a bunch over me because them say me too critical. No. Mine is in bunches because I asked the coach a question and he sort of dismissed my question in a sense, in his own cute way, and I didn't appreciate it. So it's me, I probably get mine twisted. So yeah, that's probably more like
Cranky.
it. Yeah.
Cranky. Yeah, you have to know say enough fool out there in a brethren. And you have a little program go on and enough away out there, I really appreciate it. You understand? You can't make them the fool that come here so and type thing, then I hide behind computer and I go on like some little troll and all of them things, and man, and I twist you up, brethren. Just stick to the point and make you hear some things where they go on. And look here. Brethren, may I try to apologize to people I may not even know. But when time I hear you, I get kind of, twisted. I'm like, yo, what's going on? This is not cranky.
Yeah, my fuse is not the longest, You know that go, right? My fuse is not the longest. I've been working on it, but it's a useless cause. I've given up on it.
Yeah, but at the internet, man, and enough troll, man, and sometimes man come on them things so to change the flow, cranky. To make it change the topic of discussion, and make things go all kind of crazy, Don't make that happen, brethren.
All right, sir.
Don't make that happen.
I appreciate the call.
See,
Yeah,
I
man.
really appreciate everything where you do. I mean, enough people out there appreciate it. Man, make them look at you there, they go kick rocks and go about them people, man.
All right, sir.
You understand?
Yeah, man.
All right,
Appreciate the call,
Bless
sir.
up.
Bless up.
Yeah, man.
All right. See, people like that make me want to keep doing this to people. But me sign off anyway. Sign off by saying, you talked about the story about Argentina, and they're still there if anybody. Yeah, you know what, Conrad? I should do a program on that. But there's so much to do a program on that. Me write about 4 program people for do. I'm gonna do none of them. You have a Singapore thing, you have 2 Jamaica thing, you have a Trump thing. Me sit down and write the program them, and me not do them because I'm just so busy. And in fact, I'll take off the next couple of days because me have some tax thing me need to do for my own account, and I haven't done it, and time I run out because tax day the 15th, and I have to get that done. So I'm gonna take some time off. I may drop a 1 hour or 2 video if I have time. Video take longer. But anyway, let me say good night, good evening, good night. Jason Guna, yes, Jason. If you start the program, what time you start, Jason? Tell people go to Jason Guna TV people and subscribe to his program. Jason's a much more measured, much more digestible program because get cranky like me. All right? Jason doesn't get ruffled, he doesn't get upset. Him just manage people really well. I haven't learned those skill sets. And at this point, I've given up on myself. Jason says, Jason Guna TV people is on in 10 to 15 minutes. Go watch him. Jason, I will probably click on for a little bit, but it's been a long day. All right, sir? So forgive me if I not stay on too long for your program. But all our YouTubers, or most of us YouTubers support each other. And Jason, I want to talk to you about something because I think we got YouTubers that need to get, you know what? We need to have a YouTuber conference call, actually. So we need to set that up. We need to have a YouTuber conference call for a couple of reasons, actually. But it's important. All right, sir. Hey, Jason. No, but I tell you, Jason. Hey, Jason. Somebody send me, I think that I did not, Jason, but call you out in public. Them listen to the DJ contest again. That take the run long time, Jason. And the man say, cranky. You destroy a little youth. I said, I'm a youngster, I'm a protege, but he's not Jamaican enough. So Jason, you have to watch yourself, Jason, watch yourself. Yeah, BM, you have a good temperament. Me not have the temperament, Jason. If we all had the same temperament, life would be boring. All right, people. Why this thing now pop up? Anyway. let me say, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate being here. Jason, we stay in our lanes, okay? We stay in our lanes. Good evening, people. Have a good evening. Peace out. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. By the way, before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the video. Bless up. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk, and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Frankie Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed. Want. Heed. Want. Heed them.